again, hopefully you get that core weave short, probably around 2 o'clock, or it is 2:30. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a dump there. But guys, we're headed over to the big boys, Sean and Neil.
Easy.
Hey, welcome everybody. I know it was market to the downside now. I know it was a slightly positive morning, but unfortunately, the market decided to go red. That just is what it is. Apparently, we are allowed to go to the downside. Yeah, go figure, go figure. We actually do have some earnings after the bell today, even though it's a Monday. That I do like. But overall, it's just a complete V shape. I'm only in, you're in the future, I'm in FIG, no other positions. I mean, there wasn't a terribly high volume lunchtime session, really, so you had to pick and choose what you're going to be involved in. I'm kind of hoping we get that Tilray breakout, which is still trying to go through that 85 as, well, we'll see it or not, but the president talking about potentially changing classification of marijuana, which all the weed names were to the upside, but just not quite the breakthrough on the daily just yet. But hopefully we can accelerate to the downside for anybody that's not long out there. Just looking for some continuation shorts, play the trend until the end. When sometimes it bends, which it did early this morning. Everything was so strong this morning.
Yeah.
Just like slight grind to the upside pretty much everywhere. And we're just reverting it. It's not like there was a big news story or anything like that. Outside of, there was some random stuff with GM that didn't barely even really move the stock or did any volume. Of course, I know there's some stuff going on in Washington, D.C., but I don't think that really is market moving at all.
Yeah, we can. Well, we'll hear when we hear Adara, maybe.
Yeah.
That way we'll be able to.
Just got to make sure our earpieces are.
Yeah, shout out to Mark and everybody. Our full team has now moved from one spot, sort of the control center there has gone from one section to another now. So
they work fast.
Yeah, they work really fast. They got it going on right there. The best team in the business. Yeah, I flipped over. We had this long here in the futures, which was great. And then we were trying to average into it, and then when it came back out there, we actually got out and flipped short. Just a lot of pressure right now on this market, finally going red. So we'll see if we can run this short all the way into the close. So yeah, I'm excited to do that for everybody. Here we'll talk about some of the plays that we have for earnings. We've got BBAI on. We're going to get up to the board in a second. Joe's going to be doing what Sharif normally does. We'll do the rundown. That should be pretty popular and get going as well. But yeah, excited to be back and around. It's still boiling hot here right now. And Obi, you missed it, but I was at like a Comic-Con. VaughnCon it's called, up in Vaughan. So there was like maybe 50 booths. Yeah, it was pretty good, man. I just heard him talking about all these Pokemon cards, and I saw like literally a couple $100 grand. Yeah, this one guy had a couple $100,000.
Okay,
and then my kid sent a card in to get graded.
But what kind of security was rolling up in this place? Well, this guy's got that kind
I don't know. I came with 3 dudes, but for everybody else, I'm not sure what was it.
Has a couple Charizards in his pocket.
Yeah, and the guy had tons of. It was a crazy booth. I should have actually taken a picture of it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. I don't know what security is there, to be honest with you. But I'm sure it's all insured.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to a show like that.
Yeah,
you'd be smart enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd hope you'd be smart.
No, I mean, we don't have them here, but I was walking around thinking, like, in the United States, they have those gun shows and stuff like that. You know, like, I don't know how that all works. I mean, obviously, they're not able to be loaded, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm
just saying, I would look at it this way. If you're the dude that's trying to hold up the gun show, it's probably not going to go the way you expected it to. That's just my thought. That's just my thought mentality. That whatever in your head you think is going to happen, if you're going to pull a joint there, more or less it's not going to go how you expect, unless you got.
I was there with.
I'm just saying.
I was there with my 13-year-old, so we weren't doing anything crazy there. But
does he collect? Does he collect?
Yeah, well, sort of. I told that story how we bought some sort of a box there in the United States in Boston, and the very first pack he opened up, he hit like this great card. So graded, if it's graded a 10, to Obi's point, we sent it into PSA, straight out of the packet right there. It's $3,500 if he can get a 10 out of it. You know, he touched, like when he opened it, he touched it with his, so there's going to be some oils on there. Like he's hoping for like a 9 and then can get a couple $100. I just told him to save it as an investment. But they had a deal there. This one company you could grade them for $30 and they sent it into PSA, which is in California. So that will come back, and then we'll get in a couple months, we'll find out what it's all worth. So yeah. But by the way, right here we go, man. Spin the money around right now. We're short. We talked about that a little bit just when we first started. But there's the break lower. Neil's short FIG. I'm short the Qs. So here goes the market into the downside. Congratulations, anybody here that's with me on this. But we just took down that level right there. So at 92.20 or so is when we started to think about the short. It's crazy because I had way more shorts ready to go up here if we got a little bit of a jaunt higher. But right now, we'll sit in this trade. The Qs will be red on Intel today, even though it went on that little bit of a jump there. We punched long 21s. We're basically flat on Intel. MU is very nice. That's going to be a good one. And then our next trade here on the TQs. So yeah, man, it should be a pretty good afternoon. We'll talk about some of the names' earnings. We talked about Big Bear AI. We've got Oklo. So there's going to be names. We've got SoundHound on day 2 or 3 play here,
what a move
which is starting to go crazy as well. Never ever leave a stock for a while. I mean, even Eli Lilly today did have its move up and back in. It's about the trading opportunities. You know, day 2 or day 3, huge move back up to 650. Now a fade back in. We'll have to watch out for Eli Lilly, see if that's going to do anything right now. And then, of course, it was 86% earlier. You see what it is right now. So here's the Fed rate to 86 again.
I can't imagine what's going to move us. Like we get CPI, I guess.
Yeah, I think it'll move. I mean,
it should move on that maybe.
You know, obviously as we get closer, become more certain, but we still have such a ways away. I mean, more jobs numbers coming, more CPI, Nvidia earnings, but remember
Mitch was like, no, we're going to get no cut. I got to,
Mitch.
No, but I got some tomorrow, like, because here's the thing. There were people, it was a pretty legitimate or reasonable position before that labor number.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious because it's one thing to say it before that labor number that we got. It's another thing to think we'd get it after that labor number. And again, the whole idea is that it was a surprise. What were we, 40-something? We were like 40%.
It was
to 80-something percent. Pretty much overnight on that number. Then, which I think matters more than CPI, but we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we get CPI, it's tomorrow. And then we get PPI on Thursday, I believe. The former being more important than the latter. I don't know why I just put in BMNR
the market's starting to come
that other thing.
BMNR.
It's BMNR.
Come on,
it's so annoying.
Focus.
I know, BMNR. Before we go up to Joe, even that lost the volume weighted average price. It's like everything turned. Even all the crypto-related stuff looked like it was headed to the upside. As I said, I'm only in FIG off of VWAP because that's what was setting up. Well, okay, check that a little bit. I was short FIG above VWAP on a lower high and then added underneath the volume weighted average price here. Now I'm just in the VWAP trade. As we go to find out what you wanted to talk about, let's get the rundown. Joey Options is ready.
All right, guys, welcome to the afternoon rundown, the segment where you guys choose the stocks that we talk about. Now, first on the list, we have BMNR. This is moving bigly up over 20% on the session, guys, but there's more fundamentals behind this. Now holding over 800,000 Ethereum is the world's largest Ether reserve there, guys, but also with valued at over $3 billion, that's going to generate $100 million in staking alone. So that is net income there, guys. Really good look on BMNR, up 20%, guys.
It's a squeeze play. Like, that's sort of the thing. Like, I get it. You know, you get the staking. They're going to have the staking revenue. But realistically, the move is outsized, and it probably remains that way. Like, I think the concern would be that you start turning into like the MSTR game where it goes from giving you outsized moves to sometimes getting there's so much hedging going on that you don't get the volatility you want. At least for now, it looks pretty good. But I'm gonna actually it's easier if I do it this way. Let me just throw ETHA up here instead of flipping back and, oh no, that chart doesn't work. Oh, that's annoying. Like if you look at ETHA, flip from 1, and then go right back to BMNR. Like notice how when it pulled back, and we were talking about this in the morning, how it pulled back further. So one of the things that you got to watch out for, like I said, it works in both directions. But I'm always concerned with, you know, if you're not using ETH as your futures for trades here, it doesn't make any sense because you could have saved yourself at least $5 or $6 if you were trailing it based on when ETH broke the trend. And now I want to see ETH catch up again. And if it does, this is a great chance to be along in the afternoon above the volume weighted average price relative to the market doing better, right? Like we've pulled back, we're essentially off of the lows and we're still trending higher. And if ETH can get back on track, bouncing off VWAP here, again, stronger than the market, which is at the lows right now, then you can get some take back through on BMNR. But yeah, it's what it is. It's always going to fall harder, but it works in both directions. I think if we can catch any stronger of a bit off VWAP, you go to this name. But it's weird. When I look at that ETH chart, my first thought is, well, ETH is bouncing off VWAP. Why wait for this to go? You can just get long ETH instead.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you have the 20% difference, right? It's going to move a little differently because it's a stock, right? And more people will look at that. And then there's the short float issue, but we already sort of checked it out. There wasn't much of an issue there at all. Right now we're 40 cents in the money right here as the Nasdaq's pulling back just a little bit, but more covering happening for me here at those levels. But we're still in it for a minute here on the futures. I still got more than a third left on that position. Yeah, I mean, underneath VWAP, I'd just say it's a short. So, until we get above that, then I would say that we're into here, 64.50, 60, 63 or so. I would just be short as long as we're underneath. But again, understand that it can blow your face off. So I would say you definitely are covered right here at 64 and change for BMNR. Congratulations, everybody long Ethereum. As I said, once this show goes on more, we will start looking at some different names like a Ripple, Cardano, Solana, things like that, and figure out what the next sort of game is, right? Because right now you have this, you have SBET, and then we'll wait. There's a couple companies last week, some Toncoin, Tron, all these different names started popping through. So it looks like right now SBET downside, down 1%, which is kind of strange because the BMNR and SBET both, I'm not sure about the Ethereum that they hold, but both trying to be those treasuries there. So. All right, let's go back over to Joe and talk about AMD.
All right, guys, AMD up around 0.5% on the day, but also pitching the idea that they're willing to pay about 15% of China's sales for the MI308 in order to receive that license. Nice, strong opening drive here in AMD, starting to come back in with the rest of the market. Let's see what the boys think about it.
Well, look, AMD.
Well, I mean, how to up and down.
The next big catalyst for AMD is the thing at the end. The last name we're going to talk about is Nvidia, right? It's going to be Nvidia earnings. Okay, so they got to pay. We talked about this morning. They got to pay 15% to be able to export when they're getting nothing for those chips. Now, they got to either sit there and not be able to sell them, or they could pay 15%. So you can talk all the politics in the world. It's not as if that's terrible news, but if the expectation was that they were going to be able to sell back to China and they weren't going to have to pay anything, then you're going to get a little bit of a haircut when you're off of some of these highs. So fair enough. Ultimately, AMD decided to rally anyways because it made sense and was good news. And then like everything else, I mean, I shouldn't say everything else, but almost everything else has just been pulling back off the highs. There's very few things that have managed to like bull flag it or sustain the top today. Shout out to all the weed names, believe it or not. Like it's actually like looking at almost everything across the board. It's actually the cannabis names that are holding some of the highs here and trying to break out. Come on, Tilray. But AMD, that pullback, still fine. You're green as long as you're above this double close. Like you closed Thursday and Friday effectively at the same place, right off this, just underneath the 173. So that's the obvious place to play. If we hold 173, I want to look longs in AMD because I think close prices matter more than the open. And when you have a double close like that, I like to trade it as a bit of support. I didn't trade AMD today. We didn't have Nvidia today. Micron's not on the list. Micron is that was the only chip name that I was in. I had a couple of longs on Micron. And even that, like again, Micron upped their guidance, reported updated guidance this morning, fantastic across the board, went higher and then just kind of sold off the highs. That's been the story. There's just a lot of profit taking, it seems, in this market. And that's going to happen to the chips when they pressed so much. And on top of that, maybe you can call it a small negative headline, even though I'm still saying that 15%. It's better to get 85% of something than 100% of nothing. That's just me.
I like that one. Look, I mean, AMD driven by their MI300. I mean, it's going to be a good chip. There's lots of winners in this space, and we talked about it here. You don't just need Nvidia in this space. It's nice to have competition, and AMD is there, and they've had a really great run, and nice little pullback off earnings. Obviously, you get into some of those areas where it's just typical to see some sort of a resistance up here, and I'm not surprised by this. I actually really like the long here in AMD. I know I've been hard on the company for a while, but honestly, they've been performing well, and I've just been hard on them because I've so much preferred Nvidia, and I think that that's been right. But the outperformance here from Nvidia to AMD, that's a double up. More than a double up since April lows. I know Nvidia is as well, and I shouldn't say there's one's outperforming the other. They're both performing real nice. I actually don't know who's up more from tariff lows. I guess we can look that up, but it doesn't matter. I would be long this name until you break back down below this 160 area. So get used to seeing this on the sticky note and in long ideas. As long as we're above this 160, that's sort of the spot where you're looking to hold out. And I think if you could do that, you kind of based and bumped, based a little bit and bumped, and maybe based in 2 or 3 days, bumped higher. Now we're getting just a little bit more consolidation down into this area. So for me, I really like the stock. Didn't look at it enough today, obviously, because there's that huge move up, and we should have been all over that. Instead, we chose Micron, which did have a great morning, but since then has just been sort of fading out a little bit. So Micron's going to be my P&L number one today off of that run, then off of dip buys. Eventually, we lost that bottom, and we punched out at 123.50, but now Micron to the downside. Intel's another story as well. Big Bear AI, grrr, says the board.
I have the answer. Thank you, Perplexity. Well, according to Perplexity,
I mean, we
since
can look
Liberation
at it,
Day, 70.5% for Nvidia, 63% for AMD. So both great, but Nvidia still. See, that's the crazy. As good as AMD's run's been, Nvidia's still better by 10. Yeah, well, whatever. 10%. Nvidia's Nvidia, man. Grr.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, next up we have Big Bear AI reporting this evening, looking at about a 10% expected move on that earnings report. But also note, guys, they did beat on EPS in the previous quarter, so we're going to look for that to be continued and sustained. Let's see what the boys think about BBAI, down 1% on the day.
All right, look, Big Bear AI, maybe Palantir or not, these guys got a U.S. Army contract as well worth $165 million. Let's see if they can repeat those contracts and what they think about moving forward. They did have a $385 million backlog there that they took a hit on in their last quarter, so that was some accounting issues. So let's just figure out, what exactly contracts they have back there, if there's anything looking forward for this company. AI policies seem to be favoring these names. We've seen Donald Trump come through and talk really kindly in meetings with Alex Karp and all that. That's the Palantir CEO. Big Bear AI just got that award there from the U.S. Army. Hopefully more to come through. Different countries coming. I mean, again, their big contracts so far are with airlines and airports. So we're going to have to wait to see if some of these AI tailwinds and policies really do hit Big Bear AI. And I'd like to really hear about what do they have in the pipeline. Are they looking for more consumer-based, services? Are they going for more government contracts? What exactly do they have in their sites, right? Because again, it's not about what they've done, it's about what they're trying to do moving forward right now. $9 price targets is the one that I saw from H.C. Wainwright. I was looking them up today. They do have still over $100 million in cash. It's not huge, but something to talk about, as they get out there, pound the pavement, and see if they can acquire a few more contracts. And of course, they do have autonomous logistics, so that's another market that they're looking to expand into. And as, of course, we become more focused on autonomy and things like that with such things as Optimus and all that, Big Bear AI, hopefully the brains behind some of this, these autonomous softwares, and they'll be able to make different acquisitions or possibly be acquired themselves. So we'll figure out where exactly Big Bear AI is after today's report. But, again, I like the stock. I think it's performing pretty well at these levels. It's been holding $6. And if you like AI, then great. And it's just as confusing. Like we had C3 AI today, with a downside guide, and that could happen tonight with Big Bear. So we had someone tell us that they were invested in over $100,000 of Big Bear AI. So, I just have to say, why so light, bro? But no, at the end of the day, anything can happen. It wouldn't be surprised, if there is a miss, but I also wouldn't be surprised if there was a nice beat for BBAI. And it's so hard to sit here and predict something, but I like the stock. I talk similarly. We saw Palantir as a 20 bagger. I don't think BBAI, for it to go to $140 would be something else, but especially overnight, if there's options, talk at 9, that's pretty good. I know
19%.
I was gonna say, I know Adair sent the form, but 20%?
But I think it wasn't that big last time. So I don't know, when you have that really high anticipation for volatility, I find oftentimes like the aftermarket move has sometimes disappointed for the ones that you expect to go the most. So I wouldn't be surprised if the aftermarket move is dwarfed by whatever happens tomorrow. Like you might get more action after the fact. Like who knows? And then keep in mind here, like SoundHound looked like maybe they were going to break on day one, and then you waited till like today it went. So I think that could easily be the case here. So I'll be definitely ready. Look, SoundHound was a mistake not to have looked at it today. You got to pay attention for at least a couple of days after earnings on these ones that have a potential to go. So I think BBI is firmly in that category. Don't think about this on Tuesday. Think about this one as a trade for Wednesday, regardless of what happens after the earnings. You know it can go. I want to give a big shout out to VinFast for their delivering over 35,800 EVs in Q2 of 2025. Marking a 172% jump from last year. That brings their first half total to more than 72,000 EVs, up over 220% year over year. With stronger sales usually in the second half, they're on pace to easily double 2024's 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, up 432% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq with the ticker VFS or by scanning the QR code right there in front of you for more information. And SoFi is going to be okay, just like Mike Lowry.
Yes, it's doing just fine today, Neil. Up over 2% on the session and over 10% on the month. So some big moves that we're seeing and experiencing in SoFi, especially after their previous earnings report. They did come out with that offering, so not the best there as well, too, guys. So keep that in mind. But SoFi up over 2% on the day, guys.
Before we get to SoFi, two things. One, I mentioned Figma under was it Figma? Yeah, Figma under VWAP. And it just broke VWAP. So I added to this one. Look, I was short here at 82.20. I then added to it at VWAP and trailed the whole thing out here underneath the volume weighted average price. So I'm out of Figma. It's kind of a good short, but it should have been 83s like was in the note as opposed to down here at 82s. But SoFi, love what's going on here. We've talked about these post-earnings plays where a lot of times SoFi has had a history of disappointing after earnings. Like they'll have a good quarter and then that'll be the top. It seemed like that was going to be the case once again. Like huge spike and then kind of gave it back the next day only to bounce nicely. It gave it up again. It's like, oh, here we go. There's the lower high. You're going to lose 20 bucks and we're going to turn around. No, it's just held like an absolute champion at 21 bucks here on SoFi. And some of it probably has to do with the strength in Robinhood. Everybody knows where we're headed with regards to 24/5 trading, tokenization, everything that might scare the big banks, and it, quite frankly, is the future is going to benefit SoFi. So I'm pleasantly surprised, despite having sold some before earnings. It's like you get nothing you sell before earnings is exactly where we were before, right? So like you didn't lose. Like you lost a little bit because now we're up. But this stock just seems like it's poised for another run. And every single time this comes up, I'm going to show you this on the monthly, because SoFi on the monthly chart, you break $25 on a month at some point, and then you have a chance to snap it. It's a big U. And you break out the top of this, and that would be, to me, spectacular. That's when it goes that next level. When we break out on this monthly chart, I definitely want to be in. I don't know where I want to add to it just yet, because to be honest with you, the plan of action was to buy the dip after earnings. There's been no dip. might just have to, I'm not at the point that I'd pick the shares I sold up back here, but it's getting pretty close to it. I love that monthly chart, and I would want to add to it before it gets to 28.
Yeah, I mean, the dip was 15%, but it wasn't that very long. I mean, it only went down to $20 right into there. So like Neil was mentioning there, he sold a little bit before earnings. I sold a little bit after earnings. At the end of the day, it's kind of in the middle, $22.50. So yeah, I mean, I, again, like the stock here, up 2%. I think it's one that you could probably continue to go long on, you know, every morning. It seems to be pretty strong. I mean, you can watch Robinhood to see if that gets going at all. But yeah, $23 for Sofi right there. Pretty good. That top had hit twice. So if you were looking to go short or get out of some longs, that sort of gave you that opportunity there. And the reason why I sold some Sofi is, again, we might have to go back a little bit on this, but as we keep on zooming back, you'll see here, I'll call it up on eSignal, just be a little bit quicker here. If we go over to even just a weekly chart, you'll see we've been topping out here for a minute. So yeah, right into here. This is why I sold it that day. Actually, I just put an offer at 24. It's similar to what I did. Like I put Palantir 195, that never hit, but Sofi did. So that was a good trade right into those levels. We'll see if it can continue to work a little bit higher. I still think all these names are really frothy right now. You know, what's kind of these garbage stocks have all of a sudden become, you know, sort of the bells of the ball, and that's a little worrisome to me. So I do want to get out. That's why we did talk about trimming some Palantir, which we love. And I even talked this morning about trimming some Nvidia. But these are, you know, every single time you put your money into the S&P 500, 40 cents of it is going to the Mag 7. So, I mean, if you're buying the futures or anything in the S&P 500, 40 cents of your $1 is going into Mag 7 land. So, I mean, you got to get creative somewhere. Maybe it's Sofi, maybe it's some of these other places where you can get a little bit more oomph to your dollar. But yeah, that's Sofi. And speak of the devil here, the largest, heavily most weighted stock, I believe, in the history of the S&P 500 is Nvidia.
The big boy.
Yes, sir. Last but not least, NVDA, guys. We know the NVDA is reporting later in the month as well, too. So just keep an eye out on some of the options open interest because we are starting to accumulate some size leading into this report. Now, on the session, we're just barely holding on to green, but at that 185 strike price, keep an eye out for size to continue to grow, especially leading into that report. And you can see throughout the session, we've been rejecting the 180 levels pretty aggressively, guys.
Yeah, like Sean said, it's so big, and the run has been so impressive that we talked about this with AMD. Look, they get the same deal. They're paying that 15%, but it's a big chunk of change that they were sitting on those inventories. It was like $4.5 billion that they said was affecting their revenues by sitting on those chips earmarked to China. So again, they're going to be able to, knock on wood, be able to still sell those. The demand is there. I think it still makes sense. And Jensen's been sort of making that point that it makes sense to have China relying on their chips as opposed to figuring out themselves how to make some advanced chips and try to play catch up. I don't think you want that. So ultimately, I think it all gets figured out. Unfortunately, as Joe said, we're just getting top heavy up here. So we're going to have these days of big time. It's almost like it's a consolidation day where maybe the only thing you can do is just look for that first dip and rip if you're looking for the long. Because if you're taking breakouts on this, they're just not working out very well. Now, I didn't take a breakout trade here. I had like one in out flat on a keystroke, but when it's breaking out the top, it's barely going anywhere. But if you're buying the dip and you catch a turn on this stock when the bid comes in, then you're absolutely laughing. I hesitate to want the long, as I almost want to be favoring when you look at a 15-minute chart, it just feels like if we break down, we could see that 181 again, which is fine for the stock overall. But the market's looking relatively weak. This seems like it wants to go red in here, and the resistance is pretty clear as you get closer to 185.
I'm sorry, we're going to go hear from Adara, but the 90-day tariff pause has been signed. Let's go find the information there with China, with Adara.
Extension.
I'm sure saw coming. CNBC reporting that apparently there's been an executive order signed that would extend this China tariff deadline by 90 days. So this is CNBC citing a White House official. We have not seen the executive order yet. If I get more details or confirmation from the president or his office, I'll let you know. But it is worth noting during his press conference today that started in the late afternoon, or I guess the late morning, sorry. Donald Trump did indicate when asked that he would potentially be extending the 90-day tariff deadline. Looks like he did, in fact, extend that deadline. Market chopping around a bit here, guys. Back to you.
I'm just going to basically just get in and out here. I actually just punched long into Nvidia. The other stock that I thought about immediately was Alibaba, but it already went. And then I thought to myself, maybe it's time then to now think about getting out of some more Qs. So we're going to do that right here. I mean, we're at the bottom anyways. This looks like this could be a great little trade here looking forward. So we'll get out of the TQs right now at this level and see what wants to happen. We flip over into the long based on that. I mean, we said, let's just wait to see if this market wants to go, right? And yeah, it looks like it may want to go now. We were waiting for the Chinese news. So now it looks like we got some of that. So we're going to exit out. Oh, I thought I got filled there. Okay, I'm just going to punch out here. We'll punch out 94s on the futures, and then there it is, man. We flipped it up, so let's go. Like I said, traders going to trade. We flipped over into Nvidia right now, and there it is. Nice little upside play. Let's see if we get something out here at 10s, and then we'll see about a long there coming through. But we already know the deal with China and Nvidia. They're going to cut that 15% back to them. But hey, man, this maybe just gives a little bit more time to see if there's a better deal maybe that can get hashed out there, but yeah, I don't know. We're long Nvidia and we just punch out of our Qs. Hey, look, man, I couldn't be happier with the Qs trade. So we went short there. We brought it all the way to the bottom. Just a little piece of news, and this is what changes the market sometimes, right? So there it goes. We're now flat on the futures and long right now on NVDA. So I like that story. Let's just see what winds up happening right now. There's the flippening happening right there. So we'll get out of one. We'll see what happens. And again, like, be smart, be proactive. Like, as soon as I heard that story, I started getting out of right into there, right? So we were able to get 83s, 84s, and then our last 10% or whatever, we wound up punching out there 93s. So that was a good play. And then not only did we punch out, but we got into a long as soon as we sort of heard that story as well. So far so good here, man. Let's just keep this, the train going long here. I think this is a story that we're waiting for, and the market's not really reacting to it.
The Chinese stocks really reacted to it.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, like if you looked at, you mentioned Alibaba, Baidu went to the upside as well. Like, that's a pretty solid spike and a big volume spike. Remember, these stocks do less volume in the afternoon, respectively, which makes sense. So a news like this, come on, Alibaba, there you go. Although it's already coming back in. I looked over to see if MP, which I thought, okay, MP, that could be a short. Apparently it already was. What, did they already know that the deal was going to get struck or extension was going to happen? But that stock now down 1% and already reverted. I'm going to look, like I said, if AMD is above that 73 double close area, then I was looking long anyways. So I'm just slapping the trend from when this was losing VWAP to right here. If we can break out the trend line, I'll go long. Oh, by the way, Tilray also, that 85 break, it's been imminent for a while,
yes,
but
go.
Like, it's on the offer of 85 essentially right here. So it was a very good chance that long break that I was going to take this morning is coming into play finally here on Tilray. Been waiting pretty much all day.
All right, here we go, man. All right, so as Neil battles with Tilray, we're just going to sit here in NVIDIA. We took out 5%. 10%, sorry, at 08s, 10%. Now we'll just wait to see if we can hold this. I mean, obviously our next move, we always got to get something out near the 200 period moving average. So we'll put another 5% or so, 10% at 15s, and then we'll see what it wants to do. I mean, there's still some room to go. I mean, in that top there at 184, has been a little bit of something. I mean, we've seen it up here before failing out again. So again, I'm like a little bit surprised that this news there isn't moving the market as much as I thought it would. So why don't I just I'm gonna get a 5% this time. Oh, I used the wrong key again. Okay, we're gonna have to wait to get filled on Edge A, I guess, there to the upside. But okay, so there it is. We actually get a fill right there at 05s as it rips through. So there we go, and we are now out of 15% of this trade, and wish it was gonna go a little bit more. Let's check out what else is going on. Maybe Broadcom as some of these Chinese names. We can look at PDD there, see if that's doing anything. Again, we have no Pinduoduo not doing anything. Maybe Baidu. The big move up there was Alibaba.
Probably the most easily.
I don't know. I mean, Baidu's not really doing anything for that. I mean, look what's different here. Alibaba, just with a monster move. Now it's coming back in. So maybe, yeah, okay. They're all basically the same. What else can benefit from any sort of a China story here would be Tesla. We actually identified that level break right there for you. I don't know if anyone had that. Once it broke 243.50, we did go to 346. Sorry, so you had a nice $3 move there. But here comes the market back in a little bit. Is it the taco trade one more time, except for reverse taco? Now we figure out that there is a deal potentially with the extension, right? 90-day extension there into China. Maybe now the market pulls back. I don't know. Were we expecting? Does that maybe mean that they're that far away?
Trade? I don't know.
They're that far away right now from a deal that they need that extension? So I don't know. It could go both ways. And again, if Nvidia does break it, we're only at a 15%. We just talked about that. Let's watch out for VWAP. I mean, because we were thinking short the market, remember before? And then the news story hit. So we're flat out of that one. Maybe if now we break that low, we go short again now on the markets. That would be 91.75. We could maybe re-engage in that short there for the TQs. We're still a ways away from levels that matter to us, but 92 has been a good hold. Yeah, maybe this is a short here, 91.75 to the downside. Maybe we'll try that if it does go, but we'll wait to see some more clarification on all these deals here.
Yeah, it's like the volume just. I don't know. Like you get the expected algo spike, and then there's not enough follow through. But then even here, like Tilray breaks 85. Tilray's done 150 million shares in volume, and then it just broke a double top. And it's not that it's not climbing, but trust me when I tell you, when a penny stock breaks a level like this, and it's done 150 million shares, you're expecting. Well, I shouldn't say you. I'm expecting to see a heck of a lot more volume off the bat on that breakout. It's just instantly not showing any kind of ridiculousness on the tape. I've scalped out about a quarter of this, and if we don't see anything coming pretty soon, like remember, on the other side of this, there is another side of that coin. Like I'm looking for this to break, and it's right at the 200 period moving average, which let's zoom. I don't know how far I have to go back for the last time the Tilray closed above the 200 period moving average. It looks like August. Sometime, August 26th of 2024. August 26th of last year. That's my wife's birthday. That's the only reason why that date probably doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but I like that date. But it's been a while. Like it's been a year since this thing closed above. So it is at major resistance and trying to go to the upside. As I said, the other play that I'm looking for was AMD to simply break trend, allow it to get through this downward trend here, and all it's doing is holding right on the trend line. Like after this news hit, and it just sits here hugging this trend line without breaking. So I'm willing to be patient. I think if it pops that, you can get into VWAP. It's at 174. VWAP's at 175. So why not take a shot at it? So that's what I'm looking for to happen next. If there's anything else that's moving, or Alpha MSOS, is that doing better? Up 24% today? I mean, usually I would always expect Tilray to move more than MSOS. Like if it's going to go up, right? Like have the individual name with a higher short float go higher, but 24% to 32. Maybe some of that is MSOS isn't even breaking out the top. What's CGC doing? Probably should have looked to see if there was. CGC is doing literally nothing at VWAP. So yeah, of the weed names, it looks like Tilray is the only one that's even trying to break out. And I'm not going to look at Sundial. That thing is useless. As I say that, I get that itch to try to look at it, but no, that thing is useless. Really, it looks like it's just a Tilray story. Nothing happening here in AMD. I'd say that's a disappointment. You mentioned Tesla for this news. I mean, Apple's not moving either. If you just start looking at some of the things that you might expect to go on a pause from China, and we're not getting the reaction that we want. So yeah, it's just, I'd say it's too muted here. What, you didn't want an extension, everybody? That's exactly what the market wanted, in my opinion. But you're not seeing a ton of follow through in any of the names that I would expect. We can be patient for. You still have an hour 40 to go, or hour 20 to go on the day. This is trying. It's at this rate, it's going to break the trend, and maybe that's the acceleration that we're waiting for here on AMD. But Tilray, it broke. I'm giving it half a cent, and it went almost pretty much like a penny. But you're thinking that thing can get to 90 cents if it breaks 85, not just sit here and do nothing. It's like it's got the munchies, and no one's willing to feed it, the shorts.
I mean, 32% is still a nice move. I mean,
it's probably just gone too far.
Maybe I shouldn't have rolled up those stock certificates and smoked them, because now they'd be at least worth $5.
As long as you rolled it
Yeah, no, they're that's a stupid stock. All that whole space, I would say, is a waste of time. But I mean, if you're buying the dips, then fine. But
Our valedictorian got me into one that the only good thing was that I think I sold it for a 10% hit. That was the good news.
good.
Like
nice.
no, but I think like I bought. I don't remember what we were like. It was at a. We were traveling, I think, to Dallas or something. We were going on a trip and whatever. We were just hanging out, like grabbing a beer before. And he tells, I don't even remember the name of the weed stock. And I think I bought it for like, whatever it was, I bought it for like 41 cents. It went ham, and I'm like, yeah, baby. And I sold nothing. And then I remember like however long later, just selling it for a 10% hit. Like, well, that was fun.
Yeah. I was in a similar play. I think that was one of the only ones I actually made money on. Okay. So,
yeah, you probably know the
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. What's up, Mark and Rob? All right, so I got out of Nvidia. It didn't move, so I got out for where we got in and out immediately there on Nvidia. So just took it up there a little bit on that news, and then once it didn't break, we punch out there for flat. Now it starts to go back in to the downside. So I'm not, the Nasdaq is right here right now. I'm gonna wait for it to break that low, but I think this is a decent shorting opportunity as well. Pretty happy, man. We were able to get out of Nvidia and get out of the TQs, both for winning trades. So it's been a pretty good one there so far here today. Tonight, man, Astis, we talked about that. Archer Innovation, Plug, Oklo. There's not too many stocks actually tonight, and then Big Bear AI. So other than that, there's not a whole heck of a lot to look forward to, but you will see the after show with Adara and Neil, and that should be a lot of fun. Just a quick look at Big Bear AI. Let me get this opportunity actually to fire this up for everybody again. Fire it up, fire in the booth. We'll fresh start this. All you gotta do is push right now what stock you want. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat with us right now. Hit your like, hit your subscribe, and thank you for joining us. We're gonna find some names here that you wanna talk about. I'm not sure, let me just refresh this. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say it's not populating, but PSTV, aren't they reporting tonight or no? We can have a look at PSTV. Well, it's Plug Power. Is the one reporting tonight. But yeah, okay, Palantir, Open Door, same kind of thing. Dick's Sporting Goods, what's up, Dick's Sporting Goods? Right there, flat on the day. Big Bear. Just want to see Cliff Natural Resources there. Shout out to those guys again. Some copper plays. Amazon, I just saw right there, 220. That's pretty dead for sure. Amazon.
It was moving gold.
I don't know, man. There's Webull up 3%. That's nice. Yeah, Big Bear is going to probably take the cake here. And then Tesla trying to do its best as well today. We'll have a quick look at that. I mean, I went over here as soon as I heard that news about China and the United States sort of flipping up on that one. And oops, that's Big Bear AI still. Tesla right there. The 90-day extension, I think, gives a little bit of breathing room here, to more negotiations. And we already saw that Tesla's numbers from this morning were down pretty bad. They're down 10% or something year over year. So that's not going to be a great report for Tesla today, but there it is. It's in China, so downside there for TSLA. Looking to see what it wants to do. Underneath and holding VWAP is nice. Now we're above VWAP, so that little break there, and then boom with volume. I mean, that's the ledge break, so that gave us a little bit of volume down there through 341, 342. Now you're starting to go back up to the upside. Oh, I do have to tell everybody that I am not. I mean, I always get messages all the time. I am not in a crypto Discord. I am not like this degen buying altcoins, and I always get it. And please do not follow any of us through these Discords or anything like that. Like, we're not selling anything. What we're doing on the show is what we're doing live. I don't have a private, this is where I crush crypto or anything like that. That's what people always message me. They're like, oh, great to see you. Are now in the crypto game and all this kind of stuff. It's not me, it's fake stuff. So, just watch out for that. And I think that we have some smart people in our audience, but also the tricksters are also pretty smart. So just, stay away from all of that.
Anything you'd ever hear from us, we'd hear from us here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just telling that to people because I always get I get DMs all the time. I could show you one right now of some guy saying, I just had to ask you a question about crypto based on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's not me to begin with. So what a good, and again, have that spidey sense, right? Now, see, now that I use words like this, they're probably going to talk about spidey sense and pretend to be I. But there it is right there again. Look at this drop down on Nvidia. Get out of them if there's a problem. And there wasn't even a problem. It wasn't going up. So I was like, nah, puff, puff, pass, and we'll pick something else. So there it goes, man. Nice downside play there for NVIDIA. Just did not get going off of that story. And now the futures look to break lower as well. And there we go. We are now into the TQQ. So again, we get out there. It's fine. Now we're back into basically a full position. I mean, we always leave room to put some more on. What did I call myself? Put some more on the show here, but we'll wait to see where we go from here. I'm going to take a little bit out if we can get back into.
I didn't hear that. I didn't get that right away.
Yeah, exactly. Into the down. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Yes, sir, Neil. Here we go, baby. More on, not I. Apparently, nice move to the downside right now. Boom. There goes TQQs. And I apologize, man. I am just running this right now to the downside, Neil. There it goes, right there. We put that in the pocket right there, and just like that, your number one P&L name, most likely. There on the TQQs. Just like that, Joe. Just like that, my guy, right there. So shout out to this play right here as we trade the futures and we give some energy back to the stream, guys. So there it goes. Hope you guys are enjoying it. It's a small little play right there, but it breaks the bottom, and I like it when we're right, and this time we are. So there it goes. Nice little move to the downside. Got some out there in the low 50s, so that was a pretty good take right now. So yeah, there it goes, guys. I hope you're having a lot of fun, as nothing will stop me from having fun. So nice move to the downside. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Adara, what's good over there?
MSOS certainly has been partying to the upside all day. Now we have more comments. We have an individual here by the name of Anthony Martinelli. He is the founder and editor-in-chief of the Marijuana Herald. He's just come out here on X saying that apparently a longtime Trump advisor just told the Marijuana Herald, and I quote, "Make no mistake, Trump is taking a few more weeks to finalize messaging, but the decision is made. He's going to reschedule cannabis, and we're going to study descheduling." So now we have yet another indication that the Trump administration and President Donald Trump himself are heavily considering rescheduling, or in this case, maybe even descheduling cannabis. MSOS here at Day's Highs. Back to you.
Appreciate it, Adara. And going through the high again, Tilray just hit 87. It's just climbing after that 85 break. Stop is at break even, but I got to address, I hope this is not true, Day Trader Cut. So whose course I just spent 800 on, was that not yours, Trader TV Neil? 100% not. I hope you're messing around, and I hope you're joking around, but as Sean said, we're not selling any courses around here. And if you ever see anything indicating that, then you know it's pretty much cap and it's fake. So I hope you're joking around there, and that's just having a little bit of fun. And you know what, I always say, carte blanche. If someone pretends to be one of us, mess with them. I don't care. I've told the story a million times. One of those dudes, one of the fake Seans tried to message me, and I'm like, this is way too good of an opportunity not to mess with that dude, or well, whomever it might be. I'm just like, yeah, fine. You want to waste my time? I'm gonna punk you, and I'm gonna have fun doing it. And it was good entertainment because I was literally sitting next to Sean at the time, which obviously, if he had half a brain, that person would have figured out that would be true. That said, we're never selling anything. And anything that ever happens, like I said, we will let you guys know right here live on the show. Come on, get some more volume. Let's
I
get
don't
up
know.
here.
This market is just back and forth.
It's, I feel like we get these headlines. Okay, so as Adara mentioned, we get another headline on weed, and the 85 break goes from 86 to 87. Like it's a slow grind. The other thing I'm going to do now is just sort of slap this trend line on here and just leave it at that. Like I'm getting out when this trend line breaks, and we're gonna try to hold into 90 at least, if we can even get up there. So I'm just gonna get an 89 offer out there. I'm gonna get an 88 offer out there and see how far this can go. Tilray Tilray probably has the biggest short float, and that's why it's moving the most in this particular moment, but that's about it. AMD still not doing anything. Oh, that's right, Open Door. Before we move on, Open Door 17% and just broke out the high. Thank you guys for mentioning this. Do not sleep on this one tomorrow if it can take. See that top at 260? One day, second day, and then right at the close again, you've got a big wall at the 260 level. Lots of room to go before it gets there, but it's trying to fill in that gap as we speak. Open is back alive, apparently.
And for you savvy Canadian investors, you can now tap into Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3 times daily levered ETFs. And of course, this is featuring now with built-in FX hedging, so take away all the risk from your foreign exchange. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing, similarly to me trading the TQQs here, impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Please read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. And of course, we want to thank Global X for their continued sponsorship of this and market recap show. So thank you, Global X, and make sure that you guys all go check it out, betapro.ca, for more information about that. And of course, we talked about the time decay and all of that, leaving some of those names. You got to be very, very careful when you are trading 3 times levered, double, anything that is X times stock movement. They're doing it with options, so you have to be careful there. And it might not necessarily, like the Palantir 3 times or 2 times levered will react that way for the month or for a few weeks, but then it will start to decouple from that relationship as it continues to move on. All right, so.
But the other thing is some of these do better volumes than the others. Like the futures ones do quality volume, trade them like anything else. But like there's, like you mentioned that PLTZ, that's not the best volume name out there. So some of them are better trading vehicles than others. Make sure you're tracking to see if they're worth if they're worth putting the juice in if you're going to express the trade. Just don't assume. Like the TQ is no problem, and the same thing with the SPY, because those are always going to be so liquid. But I found a few that you flip it up and it's like, what's the point? That thing's doing absolutely nothing. Like watching paint dry. But
what's wrong with
just market. Well, if you're into
paint drying around here, apparently.
If you're into watching paint dry, no judgment whatsoever. To each their own.
You got to get a new hobby, if that is the case. Of course, the more you know. Paint drying. Yeah. So all right. So TQ's right back up. We're like I said. We actually got out of 2/3 when this had happened. I don't know if you guys saw me hitting the buttons like crazy there. I'm sure you did, as Joe was getting excited, and so was I. And you know, the market was falling down there, and it fell a little bit more than I had thought. And as soon as we had, just instantly, whenever we get those instant moves, that's like, those are rapid outs for me. Like just bang, bang, bang. We get paid to get out. Remember, as we add liquidity through those. Some of them, I'm sure, were removing liquidity, which we might have had to pay for. But that was a nice move in. We'll put back. Right now, I put back some shares on this one. I said I pretty much had that full position when this happened, so that's why we covered it. This is why I'm like in stone cold chill mode right now. But yeah, we'll wait to see if it does fill back in through. I put a bid at 82. It just kind of stopped at 82 there, actually. Just take advantage of that, because that was a 91 or 92 fill there, 90, I guess, at the 50-period moving average. And I'm stopping out if we break this high right here of 92.05. So just trying to take a little bit of profit here, hopefully, as we can continue forward with this trade. But I don't know. It's funny because Nvidia, that would have been a good long off that bottom. There's that break. There's the flush. I mean, Nvidia goes all the way to 182.50 and now all the way back up to the levels that we messed with it before. And that's the only trade that we have on Nvidia so far. Let me see what Brethren's doing here with AMD. So that's much more pronounced sort of downtrend here. It looks like Nvidia was trying to bounce a little bit. AMD is having no such fun, no bounce at all. So just to look at the difference here between, AMD and Nvidia, you can just push page up on our marker here and on your keyboard for whatever stock you're looking at last. And there it is, right? So you can just see here, this is what Nvidia looks like. It's trying to battle with it, but then AMD, the other way around, page up, just looks like this, straight downside. So I feel like if you're gonna short something, I'm short the market, but the AMD is probably a little bit of a better stock right now, despite them being similarly up or down on the day. Both Nvidia's up 0.1, AMD up 0.2. This is just looking healthier right now for a downside.
We've noticed this though, like they've diverged in the afternoon often. There's a lot of times, especially in the afternoon. Like if they're going up in the morning, they tend to both be going up. But there's too many times, at least lately, that I've noticed that with AMD and Nvidia going in completely opposite directions. It's just how it is. AMD is okay. 3 others. I don't think AMD is necessarily pathetic, but right now it is looking incredibly weak. No, pathetic is. I mean, the stock's up 63% since Liberation Day. If that's pathetic, I'll take it.
I mean, most stocks are up like that.
I mean, a lot of things are
like
up.
Adobe's
and I say that as, look, man,
How many your Figma trade, by the way? Oh, you're on it right now.
Oh, I was going to look. I got it at Figma at VWAP a long time.
So I was thinking about Adobe.
But I was actually going back to this name in particular because the original entry on Figma was here at 82.25. So I'm coming back into this name if we can start to lose the offer pretty much right in front of that 82.25 again. Oh, come on, Tilray. Cannot seem to get to 80. I want the next move into 89. We just got 88s on Tilray, so it's still continuing to climb. Adara bringing you the news. The bill is signed, or sorry, check that. The executive order getting signed. It just tagged 88. We're looking for now the print up into the 90 level, and I just keep manually moving my stop on the trail because that only now go to just underneath 87. So finally, Tilray broke. There was a question about, now that the bill is signed, do you think Tilray will get back to a 52-week high? I'm not willing to go that far. Taking a technical breakout at 85 on the daily is one thing, and looking for it to go to give you 5 points on a move is one thing. Actually thinking these guys are going to start making money and go to $1.95, I'll leave that to other people. I have zero interest in being long this stock in any real sense.
I think Adara?
Sorry, Adara?
I just wanted to clarify, the bill signing has nothing to do with marijuana. That's just talk of they might reschedule at some point. I just want to clarify the bill signing has to apparently do with the fact that reportedly an executive order was signed to delay, I guess, this China and U.S. tariff or trade deadline for another 90 days. I just wanted to make that clarification.
I probably misspoke. They're talking about an executive order, right? But I mean, that was the news this morning, and that's what's continuing to make this move. But like I said, if I'm ever trading Tilray, it's technical, and it's just not a stock that I'm interested in owning. That being said, if I'm looking at it and saying, hey, look, you've now broken this double top. If you hold a 200 period moving average, like where's a logical place that I think a hold of this could go? I'm looking for a one break to a 1 quarter. Like take it from 85, and if it holds a 200 period moving average, look for the 1 quarter. That's a 50% return. I think when these things are that bad, I'm never trying to shoot the moon like you've got it for good, unless you really believe in like the space or the company. Like it's like, look, it's one thing to you think quantum's gonna be amazing, so you buy QBTS at $1 or whatever it is, and you hold on because you think it can go. I don't see how this. I just don't believe in this.
No, there's no barriers to entry.
No, it's just way too. Yeah, again, that's
like I think Joe's starting up his own weed company pretty soon as well. I mean,
really?
There's really no.
I'm in on that, Joe. Well, see, here's the thing. Joey Options, he had the dreads, so he's got the street cred right there.
Right.
So I'm willing to invest in it. And the fact that we got the video evidence of those dreadlocks is good enough for me. Until I see Samson Simpson throwing down, I'll invest in that all day, every day, because Samson knew how to throw down.
Yeah.
Now he might have got fooled.
Great investor.
But a little bit. But first of all, if you've never seen Half Baked, please do.
Everyone should see that. Probably.
Obi can't tell me. Oh, he's not even here. Obi's always saying, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen. I promise you, he's seen that movie. Chappelle?
Oh, Chappelle. I mean, that's even before Chappelle was kind of Chappelle.
What was it? Jim Brewer?
I saw.
What's that guy's name?
I'm bad with the names. I know the guy you're talking about. I saw Chappelle was on. He had actually a pretty good monologue on SNL. It's an old one. It's a very, very old one from January. But great monologue.
The guy.
We really like Chappelle for sure on this show. You can't tell. There as well. But okay, so I'm flat now. I mean, all we have is the TQs. I mean, this is all that we've been doing. We're going to look for some more names. I mean, names that had reported there. We had Newegg there on Friday, took a jaunt up 30% or something there on Friday, back in today, not doing the greatest here. Now down 13% on not too much trading. Of course, NEGG. Good move, like I said, on Friday. Not too much happening right now, on a little bit of a pullback. So that's a move that's happening. Technology upside, tariff stress. We talked about that. The September rate cut seems to be more and more imminent now. 86%, although it was 92% that was coming through there as well. I mean, what's next? We got CPI tomorrow, so there could be something there. We could check out stocks like Robinhood that have run real hot. I mean, if we do get a negative, some sort of I guess it would be a hotter print might send our market downside there tomorrow. I don't know if...
It would have to be a pretty hot print. What else is going to move?
That's what I was going to say. Like right now, I'm not really sure what moves this market too much. I mean...
Well, we're at 86%.
Right, we're already there, right?
If it comes light, like what, are we going to go... we're going to go to 90 again. We're already at 93. So it would
Right.
have to be a hot inflation print. And even then, you'd have to see a hot PPI as well. And let's be real, there hasn't been too much of an indication of that this is that would happen. So I'm still with the camp that we're getting our cut.
One way or another.
Yeah, we're going to get our cut one way or another. That's right.
I'm trying to get, I don't know if we really want to reload this over here in the TQs. We are starting to get a little hot right now. We talked about a hot print tomorrow. The market's trying to heat up just a little bit right now for us, right back upside. So we're hitting keys, getting out, so everything's fine right now on the TQs. But remember where our stop is.
Super chat.
It's getting close right there to stop out at 92.05 right here. So I'm not going to reload this. I'm not sure, like we talked about Nvidia trying to get back to the upside. Now it looks maybe like it wants to go. AMD, the minute it breaks trend and goes to the upside, the market could be a problem. So we're looking for AMD to maybe break trend and then go. For me, the break, what's up, power hour? I mean, normally it's the 50 period moving average. That'll give me that sort of a trend break, but we've sort of, we tried to get going here and then whoops back to the downside. So I'd like to see at least a break of 174, which would be $1 from here. So maybe it's not worth looking at right now for AMD, but I think that helps this market go. We haven't looked too much, and Neil's going to get that super chat in a minute, but we haven't looked at Apple yet too much today. That's trying to fall back in again. And other than that, did Tesla maybe falling back in? The market, I mean, although we've entered power hour, doesn't mean the market wants to do anything. But there, we talked about this off VWAP. At least that's back upside right now, as there goes Tesla. And if you're watching this trade, we're going to stop out if it breaks O's. And that may be incoming very, very soon. We're short now at 80s. I'm fine with it. Really, it's we've already taken money. We got some money in or back out of it when we just dropped into 65 there. So let's see if this market wants to be a little tipsy-turvy here into the close. Again, CPI coming, so that should be hot for tomorrow. And with tech basically in the major tech in the rear view mirror here, we'll just wait for some of these smaller names. And a lot of people excited for Big Bear AI.
Yeah.
We had a move in Eli Lilly today. And
the trades will be there.
Yeah, and then I think the banks also
don't sleep.
have something to do. Oklo tonight, yeah. Don't
look if you're a holder of SMR, then those Oklo earnings are going to matter, right? Like one way or another. But I wanted to shout out to MJ Fitness. It's a MJ Fitness salute. Check that. IBM question mark. Yeah, throw a few more question marks after that. IBM been beaten up after their earnings. No questions asked. This is a monthly. IBM was having a very, very good year. On the monthly, this is now pulled back $60 from the top.
What? I should buy some.
This is what I'm sort of getting at. On the monthly chart, which I love monthly charts for the long term, if I can find something good on them, but you're not even, like you could pull way further back here into the low 200s on the monthly. It's the It's the weekly chart that gets intriguing to me because it just broke the 50 period on the weekly chart. And this is, like, that's obviously still bearish, but the next support is a double barrel at the 220 level. This is where I'm going to start to, I'm not sitting here bidding the stock right now, but this is one that after like this week breaking down that 50 period moving average, it's now on the radar for a dip buy. I'm not there yet because it still hasn't slowed down since earnings, but I'm certainly on the radar. 220 is a level I'm eyeballing. I might just stink bid it like I did Tesla at $222.22 just cause. But it might bounce before that, so you never know. And I've been guilty of throwing out stink bids like that and then not moving them and missing the fill. So I'm open to buying it at a better price than instead of the 220 level on IBM. Let's go to Adara.
So I'm going to let you guys know we did just post our August 12th, so tomorrow's earnings and events calendar for the day, and it's a pretty stacked one. Tomorrow we have not one but two recent IPOs reporting earnings. That would be Circle before the bell, CoreWeave after the bell. We also have a quantum favorite, Rigetti, reporting after the bell, as well as Kava. Now we have CPI, definitely the biggest ticket economic event we have basically this whole week. That'll come tomorrow, Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We have some company events as well. Carvana, Etsy, SMR, all on watch. Check this out on X at TTV Research. I post these every single day. And stay tuned for our implied moves infographic for tonight's earnings. That'll be coming out probably within the next 25 minutes. Back to you.
Oh, everyone always gets excited for Rigetti. Yep. You better believe it. I do the immaculate grid for baseball. One of my favorite Yankees to use if I can is Dave Righetti. Because people forget that one of the best closers in Yankee history used to have the saves record. He threw a no-hitter when he was a starting pitcher. Most people don't know that. I think he's the only, he might be the only pitcher to have led the league in saves and also thrown a no-hitter.
Yeah, I mean, that would sound like that would never happen.
Because unless Smoltz or Eckersley ever do a no-hitter, then he's that guy.
I mean, especially nowadays, that's one thing that I'm pretty confident will not get broken just because of the way they use arms these days.
Oh my goodness, guys can't even go a whole game.
Yeah, I was gonna say for a pitcher to pitch just a few innings sometimes seems like not happening. But okay, so yeah, 4 to 6 innings now is pretty good. Like Cy Young and all that, some of the numbers that those guys are putting. I
was gonna ask you a question.
Back in the day is pretty.
Do you have
ridiculous?
This is completely random. We were just thinking about baseball. Do you ever have the girls do like on the knee throwing drills?
Yeah, we do.
Practice up.
We warm up. We warm up with that stuff.
Yeah, the on the knee stuff.
Yeah. They just sit there and they just do little stupid tosses like this with their arms.
So I think like that's one of the things that I've started to get Aaron doing.
Yep.
Just to work on your upper body mechanics of throwing.
Oh, for mechanics. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's more just to get this action going. And then you move into the arm. But yeah, the mechanics is very difficult for a lot of baseball players, especially younger ones. Even Gia doesn't have the greatest of mechanics. But
the thing is, you can overcome a lot with athleticism, but then you realize if you have what proper mechanics will do in any sport, and it's insane. Like I know dudes that couldn't throw hard, that when they learned to throw, it's like all of a sudden this guy's. Like he was not, and now he can throw in the 80s and stuff when you were in high school, and it's like, how that guy just be proper mechanics, and all it was mechanics. And sprinting, it was like the same nonsense. Nolan Ryan is definitely the GOAT on no hitters.
Nolan Ryan never won an MVP. Is that right?
He never won a Cy Young.
Right. Okay.
I didn't even win a Cy Young award.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Well. That's it's utter nonsense that the voters screw that up. There's multiple times that he was legitimately the best pitcher in the league, but he didn't pitch on a great team.
I was going to say, but it's
so his record wouldn't be that good. That's not his fault. He had no offense. He was still the best pitcher like 2 or 3 times, at least 2 or 3 times.
They could solve that whole MVP thing. Get the writers out of there. I mean, now with AI and algorithms, maybe there's a way to figure out who actually should be the real MVP instead of people's biases, right? It would be cool too if they did that same thing for the Hall of Fame. But you never know how that all goes through. So.
I'm a big let them all in and put the truth on the plaque.
Yeah, why not?
I just
let people make their own decisions.
Did they play good enough to be in? There's a bunch of dudes who have histories that are like there's one dude in the MLB Hall of Fame who literally wrote a book called The Spitter and Me. It's like you've never been able to throw a spitball. The guy did it his whole career, and he bragged about it in a book cheating, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But you're going to tell me that other people that, anyways. Just throw it in there and then just say this guy was juiced up on steroids. Love it or hate it, but he was one of the best in the game ever, and that applies to a lot of people.
Yep, exactly.
There is a wall at 90 that is trying to break here on Tilray. I thought the flies had been not as bad during lunchtime, and now they're starting to come back. So there's no size on the offer. It's just sitting here with like 20, 30,000 shares that it's trying to bust through. My trailing stop has now moved all the way up to 89. So it goes 85, resistance at 90, trails at 80, it's like 88, 88 or something like that. Shout out to Back to the Future. But the chart doesn't really do much of anything. If you look at the last move, the logic here, it broke away from 80 to get to 85. It breaks away from 85 to get to 90. So I'm probably going to get trailed out here as it's breaking back through 89, but that's fine. Like a breakout trade to me in the afternoon when the volume wasn't even as big as I was expecting on Tilray, I'm willing to get out of this. I'm not going to short it. I don't even think I paid for locates on this here today. And then the reason we're looking at Tilray was just like that's Tilray 37% to the upside. This is CGC doing nothing. Sundial is probably doing nothing. Who cares about Sundial? MSOS. MSOS was strong, but just not nearly as strong. So that's why we went over to Tilray. And it was a breakout on that daily chart. That's pretty much it. I hadn't really traded much of anything else. AMD's at 172 now. Ooh, it's still going down.
Let me check out.
It's like a slight program. Just
That's what I was saying about it. Like as opposed to Nvidia, like we wanted the AMD short is probably what's better than anything else right now.
What's Micron doing?
AMD short.
Micron's not even moving.
You know what? I don't know, man. Part of me, like, we're doing good today. We met some numbers. Doesn't matter. We're green today. It's a good day. It could always be better. We talk about that over and over again. But AMD, the short might be the trade that I'm looking for as opposed to the futures. I think there could be something there as it's just kind of edging down here. And I mean, this looks pretty good to me. We had that one move, and I remember this looks pretty much identical to what Sofi looked like that one day on earnings, where Sofi ripped, and then it followed the 50-period moving average all the way down into the depths of hell there near the end of the day. This level break, though, for us on AMD, like that's 40. Right there, is that 40? What is that? Yeah, 40s. That could be the break right there to go short. I mean, any kind of a bump up into, it's just so low. Like the thing is, it's heading to the downside so nicely right now that I just wonder if it's just too low, like to hit that short. I mean, we still have a lot to go. It's just like the 50-period moving average is 173.50. Just wondering if it should maybe climb just a little bit before we short it, but there is something to be said about breaking through that level right in and around there, 172.40. Yeah, I would probably like to keep this one on sort of watch right now for AMD shorts. So that would be something to look at for sure. Let's check out Rivian. We haven't looked at too many of these stocks recently. So here's Rivian right now, $12. Nice move off the low, but Rivian still spitting lower there, still losing $19,000 per car. So congratulations on that one, Rivian. But my wife still likes them, so there's nothing wrong with that. And there could be some opportunities there for Rivian at this point. Gold right now is down $85. I mean, gold's to the downside. There goes Palantir as well. I wonder if its best days are behind it. JK, I don't think so. I think we have a lot of movement coming for Palantir, but it had its nice move up to 187, making brand new all-time highs today, I believe, at 187. How high did, yeah, that's right. Really close. Yeah, 188 was actually the breaking spot that we had on the sticky note. I should have realized that, but yeah, 188. So that would have been a break right into there for something. So that, yeah, we'll wait on it. And the futures are the only position I have on right now. We could try to review that. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot. We have about a third on of our initial bigger position right there. We got out, then we added some back, making that third back in. So now we've got a third left, and we just got a piece out at 73. Hopefully it'll drop down even more than that for us. Micron's had a good day today, but now flat. Intel as well. If there are any other names, I said I'd pull that down just to see. So let's just do that really quickly right now. What you guys want to talk about. Open Door, BBAI, AMD, Archer, they report tonight, so we can have a look at that, down 1.4% right now. Amazon as well with a nice push back down. I can't really see what that says. Yeah, that's it, Fabian. Can we maybe get the red on here, a different color?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like it's hard to see this part.
Let's see that.
Like see right here, this red down here. Yeah, I want it like. I can make it bigger. If you can. Yeah, bigger's not always better, right? I mean, that's what I hope up for. But no, I just think it different just to make it easier to see, or bigger. Yeah, and bigger. I'm giving you, all right. I'll add it to the list. Doubled up.
Or
right
the
there.
background color on the
No, don't add it to the list. It's top of the list. Who? That guy? Come on, man. This needs to be, how long does that take you to do that?
Forever.
It's painful because I don't know how to code, and I buy code.
Oh. Then I won't tell everybody that you don't know how to code. Okay,
that just
all right.
Makes it more impressive.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Apparently, there's more to do.
He doesn't even know. Yeah, that's
all right. So here we go. We're finally starting to get to the downside right now. So as we continue to move lower here, we just get another fill on the future. So we'll just do that, and hopefully we'll get a nice move to the downside now. And yeah, I believe Fabian will get that done probably. It'll probably be done by the end of the day. So
yeah, he doesn't.
Let's never fear for that. Fabian is here. All right, let's just hold on. Maybe there's a downside push coming, and maybe we're right about AMD, and we should have just got short when we said it. But yeah, we're gonna wait to see if AMD can maybe get back to the 50 period. That would be just a break of 173. That might be enough to get us short. So yeah, right now again, earnings tonight. We're down through 91% of the S&P 500 have reported. The big one tonight. We're looking for Big Bear AI. We're looking for Archer. We're looking for
Oklo,
Oklo.
Microvast, all the big ones that we're looking for, they're all double-digit expected moves because they're all small cap stocks. Like all the big names today are reporting going to be small cap stocks, which is for the trading aspect of it. It just means there's going to be some runners here tomorrow for sure. And speaking of, whoops, oh Archer, you're not a New York stock, ACHR. Oh goodness, I'm going to seize again. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. What's crazy is this is the first morning where I felt okay with the allergies, and then it's been going out of control. I blame my walk. Archer down 1.5% today. This is a
stupid walk.
It's not the best looking, although it was a nice breeze. It wasn't as hot as
I it's not so
when
bad.
I went to walk today, but that's wrecking havoc in the afternoon. No, Archer hasn't been the best looking stock. And I never cheer for things to go to the downside. That being said, like the potential breakdown on this stock it's kind of enticing. I always want stocks to go up in a general sense. This feels like the kind of name, like if it's bouncing off 9 or breaking down underneath, it's a trade either way. But given how volatile it is, like what are the chances that it's anywhere near close to this price? Like I almost wouldn't mind if this thing did nothing after market and then made the move tomorrow, I'd hope. Because then you could trade it busting through or bouncing off that $9 level here for Archer. Not too much of a move. I did mention I would get trailed out of Tilray if it broke too far underneath the 89 level, which I'm just going to get rid of the trend line because don't need it anymore, which it did. It broke the consolidation down, promptly retested 90, and the refresher at 90 cents is still there. So when 80 to 85, we took the 85 break, it went to 90, and now it can't seem to break 90. If it just holds here, I might take a shot at the breakout at 90 as well and just give it like 1/4 cent on a break of 90 and see if it does the same move into 95. Again, just speculation that there could be some kind of an executive order at some point changing the scheduling of marijuana federally. Speculation.
I had to wake Ramin up there. She was just walking around there. I had to give her. I know I hit that siren. Thought it was a little jolt. There goes the futures, 91.58, a nice move there to the downside. Oh, Ramin is moving as well, I guess. Where are you moving to? Side Fabian? Sorry about that. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, Fabian? I see you working on that code over there. I see you over there.
Hard at work. Oh.
Guy doesn't know how to code. What a scam artist this guy is over there. All right, so we'll, I guess with ChatGPT nowadays, I probably just get that. Yeah, send me the code, Fabian. I'll fix that thing right away. Yeah, so nice little downside play there for the futures. We just covered some more in the 50s, by the way. Right there to the downside, so that was a good one. This is, Fabian, you're letting Ramin move these things by herself?
Chivalry is apparently
Okay, Fabian.
Chivalry is dead.
Ramin is strong and powerful, is what we just heard over there. So yeah, she definitely is. So shout out to Ramin over there doing everything as we all sit here.
I mean, we know that Sharif wouldn't help because they're always hating on each other, but
wow. Yeah.
I would get up and help. Oh, I just saw something when I went to go grab my water. There's a decent chance when we move down, we might get some bigger monitors. I'm just throwing that out there.
Good.
Bigger and better monitors. It's like, why don't we get the monitors everyone else has? It's like, why do they get these big new monitors?
Who has bigger than us?
Production.
They do?
Not those ones, but like the ones that are up there that are still there.
Okay, well, they have important things to do. We're just sitting here trading, so let's not get that twisted. All right, so yeah, we want to say shout out to all those guys. Yeah, we have 26. I don't even know how. Fabian, how big are these monitors that we have?
Sure.
20. I could ask Mark. Mark probably knows.
Mark would know.
Yeah, 26.
Except 20.
All right, nobody knows. All right, this segment's going nowhere. Okay, so yeah, just real quickly, thanks, Fabian, for that one. Let me know when the coding's done, my guy. But yeah, it's a nice downside play here. Again, reloaded, short, man. I mean, this is how we trade. You saw how Obi trades a little bit. I've traded 3 names today, that's it. And, well, 4 names, sorry, Intel, Micron, Nvidia, and the TQs, all in the same sector right there. And yeah, putting it up now, just trying to trust on this trade, see what's happening here, and hopefully be able to come up with something as this market continues to go. My other favorite, not favorite, but a recent stock that I bought, I mean, we long this one at 64.80, something like that, but Marvell also spinning to the downside right now. Had a great move through 80. I feel like, and we were able to get out of some Marvell. I mean, this is not something where we talk about it after the fact. We talked about Marvell, just like BBAI, as this was happening, rated into the 200 period moving average. We took a shot on these guys on earnings, and it paid off. And now you're starting to fade out a little bit. But again, it's not like these plays are locked and loaded. You can get out at any time. But this looks like it wants to break a little bit lower there. Marvell looking like AMD is not doing anything. I was wondering if that was near its breaking spot. It is not right now. So yeah, just trying to get some orders out to cover some of these positions that we currently have. If there are any other names, we just looked at that. ASTS is ripping. Apparently ASST, sorry, is ripping. Asset entities. Is this what reports? No, this is not what reports tonight.
No,
what reports tonight?
It's ASTS.
ASTS.
That's why we call it ASTS, man.
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
That assists. I've made that.
This is AST space.
Yeah.
Yeah, Astis is good enough for that one. $46, yeah, a good mover here today. Again, this has kind of come from nowhere, and then a huge move up now at the 50-period moving average. The implied move for this, still losing money, man, minus 19 cents.
And remember, on top of that, Voyager was a hot IPO in the space.
Yep.
It just trended down since they opened up, and it was the same thing with Fly.
Ever since Fly IPO'd, we've had a lot of Fly problems around.
Well,
here,
it's not a coincidence. Well, it is a coincidence, but
yes,
no, like
very much a coincidence.
What was a great run? Rocket Labs. Oh my goodness, Rocket Labs on earnings. Oh, it came back. Hey, good for Rocket Labs. I didn't look at this. On Friday, it was a nice breakout on Rocket Labs and reversed the entirety of the move. Tried to bounce. Rocket Labs again today with a full reversal twice. It's still up on the day, which is good, but just a lot of the air seems to be coming out of these. Here and not getting the follow through that you want. Tilray just went again, so broke 85 to go to 90. It just broke 90 and just tagged 92, so I guess it wants 95. The stop again is at break even, so if it breaks back underneath 90 cents, then out of this thing, or if it continues to trend, then I'd move it to the trend line, but at least for now, it's a break even stop on Tilray, now 41%, and I still don't think this is, it's not even $1 yet. How long is it? First of all, this stock has been underneath $1 since February. What's the rule for how long for delisting? Like, have these guys got a notice yet? Like, what's going on here?
Should have got
Since February, and we're in August right now. I wonder if they've gotten a letter and need to get above $1 by a certain amount of time. That could be worth watching. If it doesn't close above $1 today, it'd be worth knowing. If anyone knows offhand. I might jump in and check this one out in the morning. It doesn't really matter too much now, but if it gets close to that $1 level, like right at the close, it might be interesting to see if someone tries to bid it up. Because once it gets there, if you're on notice, you have to go 10 days in a row closing. I believe it's 10 days, closing above $1, and then you're back in the good graces. So Open Door is a recent example of a stock that did this. And then you don't have to reverse split, you don't have to worry about getting delisted. But yeah, another breakout here is this weed name at least tries to go higher. I'm assuming you're getting some play if you're trading. Well, I don't know why CGC's, I don't know why CGC's not moving. CGC has done literally nothing in the last 30 minutes within essentially the exact same price as it was before, but Tilray just continues to go higher. So, that's sort of the thing. Like, it's not rocket science. Tilray was up a higher percentage anyways. Tilray was the one that was breaking out a big level on the daily chart. So we'll see how far this one can go. Jam, thank you very much. See, now I don't have to check.
Jam.
This is the best community ever, because I could have just asked Perplexity myself. But I say it out loud before I ask, and then you guys tell me. They got a letter already, and they have until September 17th. So this does matter. I want this to get to $1, and then we can start to see if any of those nice games get played at the $1 level, holding the bid at $1, making sure they close above $1 every single day so you get to that 10 days. They could get an extension. Yeah, that's true. You can always get an extension. But it doesn't mean that sometimes you won't see those buyers. When Mullen was under this pressure, for like 2 or 3 days in a row, there was a point where he was struggling to close after it got past 5 or 6, and you could see somebody trying to hold the bid, and let's be real, I saw somebody spoofing the stock in the last hour trying to get it above $1 multiple days in a row. And it's like, well, If I see that again, I'm just going to punch long. And if that person's leaving the order in there, they're the exit liquidity, and you're trying to run it into a buck. So why not? If someone else is going to sit there, I might as well take advantage of it. All right, I don't think this is going to be as good of a move as the 85 was. There's already some selling starting to come in here on Tilray. So we got the 85 went clean to 90 straight up. The 90 break goes to 92, and that might just be it, as we have only half an hour, less than half an hour until we have these imbalances coming through.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, just like that, and as I told you, that Fabian would be on top of this ASAP, and there's the fix already. This guy's a joker, honestly. Shout out to Fabian. Thanks for working hard and getting this done for everybody. There, yeah. So now it's just white for now, and then we'll try to figure out, what red looks the best as we move forward. So, yeah, hopefully you could see that a little bit better. Maybe you cannot, but we'll get that figured out.
You can definitely read it.
Yeah. So now it's at least there, at least for me to tell you guys what's going on. But there's BMNR. I mean, this is really leading the way right now, right? And so again, with that Ethereum trust, we can go over there. What was it, 800? No, it's not 800,000 Ethereum they own. That's way too many. BMNR right into there. Yeah, $61, $60. Now you're starting to finally fall in. I mean, you're at this key level again. Is this the one that you said we don't have to pay for shorts, or we do, or we don't, or something? But at the end of the day,
no, I don't think it was that one.
Okay, because I was thinking about going short right there. We just tested the 200 period again and started at $65, but here's a 60 break, basically incoming. This is the break it spot right now for BMNR. I mean, if it can hold it, that's great. But if it doesn't, this is now touched out 4 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right here, this would be the 5th. And there's no, rule about any of this, like 3 times and it's for sure breaking, or 5 times, or 100 times, or whatever it is. But the support right now, it's just like a dam. Like the more you test out on these levels, at some point the liquidity is going to dry up on the bid side. And if this buyer, who apparently is here right now at 60.50, with 10,000 shares on Arca, another 10,000 shares there on whatever other gateways they've been showing up on, if that buyer is gone, then so will the stock. And it is just moments away. That's a break of $60.50. So if I put out like 100 shares right now, no. So you do have to pay for shorts. So if that does break, I do think there's going to be a trade opportunity there for BMNR. And I'm actually going to go, it's never too late to get short. So I'm going to go in here and I'll tell you how much they are. I'm going to request them through our broker right now and figure out how many shares. I'll just put in a small, I'll just see how much it costs. Cheap. Oh, you already did it?
I did it this morning. It was super cheap.
You already have shorts.
Yeah, well, yeah. I got this in SBET. What's SBET's actual stock? Sharp Link Gaming.
Yep.
This is the problem. Like when you get these like treasury plays, you have no idea what the actual name of the company is, and it's always interesting to see what did these guys do before they became a Bitcoin treasury. At least in this case, it's pretty obvious. I'm going to venture in to say not the best exit to my short. Thank you for the walk that I went on later. Anyways, no, whichever, it was very cheap, I'm pretty sure. Like less.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah. It was one of those like very close to free.
Cost me 3 cents for 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so close to free that you basically call it free. Although
it's free.
I said something was free on Friday, and they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, okay, fine. It's 0.00003 cents per share. It's not free. It's kind of free.
All right, we're going to see if it breaks. I am going to go short if it does break $60.50. So right there, we'll try to get that short. Just give it a minute, right? I mean, where it's bouncing around to right now, these high wicks give it up to $62. So you got to if you punch that short, you could get that sort of like, oh, you thought I was done buying at 60.50. Well, I got more at 60.25. I got more at 60. So you're going to have to watch out for that break. And then, if it does continue to go lower, then great. Oopsies, what have I done? There may be no buyers here for that stock. So we'll wait to see if BMNR here on a 60.50 break means anything there. I would say it does. So we'll wait, and that's what I'm trying. And then again, I kind of just doing like this, but it's a downside play here for the Nasdaq. So there it goes, breaking lower. Really happy with that move, 91.58. Looking to get a little bit lower here. So let's see what winds up happening now with the Nasdaq. Break lower. We'll put some more bids. So I'm bidding 56s. So hopefully that comes through. And then into the close, we'll see if we got a monster winner right here. This is actually now going to go for me, P&L number 1. We reloaded it despite our big trade in Micron early. This, reload in the TQs seems to be okay. And now again, this is unrealized P&L. I'm going to take some out at 58 there as well. So let's just start to get out a little bit. It's only now a half hour left until the end of the market, and there's no market moving names coming after hours. But
we hope not.
Well, it would have to be a different story.
Yeah,
none of those names will move the market.
If one of these names moves the market, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
we're in trouble. We'd be very much in trouble.
It would have to be a China tariff thing or something like that.
Well, you could always it's always a wild card for anything. Remember, we did get that extension, right? And there wasn't much of a move. It's like there wasn't that much of a move. So maybe there could be some comments that come in the aftermarket that could shift us one way or another. The chip stocks not reacting like you would want to expect. So like I said, 85 to 90 was pretty clean. 90 went to 92, but I'm going to jump out. Looks like Tilray's turning. I don't even think I can short this. No. Can you? Probably pay for shorts on Tilray, which I wasn't really looking to do anyways. 3:30, so there's still time. I'll probably process this. If there's enough time as I go here, I'd probably revert this and just give it to 91, like take the trend break. If it closes a candle under the trend line, which it has plenty of chance to do here on Tilray, then I can reverse into the short. Usually it's pretty cheap on this stock. So we'll see. But really, again, it's just speculation. We have no idea whether you can actually reclassify. And as I get out under 90, it just reheld that bid. So there's still a buyer underneath the 90 or at the 90 level. But for me, it's getting out anyways on that trend. AMD's actually threatened to break trend line itself up. That's interesting. So I would have thought the other direction. But AMD is actually threatening to break the trend, this downtrend since the volume weighted average price to the upside. So that comes on my radar. I was waiting for this on that news that we got an extension, that the U.S. and China, not we, we're in Canada. The U.S. and China had an extension on tariffs, another 90 days. Great. Held on to trend, did not break back out. If it can close above, there's still some time to the imbalances. I'd be willing to take this shot here on AMD. If we close this 3-minute bar, it'll be above 173.25. If it closes this 3-minute bar above that, I'll try to go to the long. It would be the prior bar, but it still has to set me up here for a clean trade. And here's a good one from Wes, y'all. It's hilarious because someone asked about this symbol before, and I didn't look at BTAI because I actually assumed that someone just typoed BBAI. So that's my bad, because apparently BTAI is up 54%. And I made a bad assumption. Yeah, whatever. That's my mistake, because I actually saw this get put in by a couple people on the chat. This is now like 5 or 6 days in a row for this stock. And I got to I'll check another source, but it looks like this $7 clear bag hold level on huge volume back in March is what you're challenging. I don't know anything about BTAI. What is this thing? What's the short float on BT? 6% short float. It's got to be a small. 5 million float. That's why it's going ham. Yeah, so the float's only 5 million. That's going to be your driver. And when we talk about like small cappers like this, the reason if I see a small short float, never fear, it can still squeeze so long as it's a small float, because it can get soaked up. It's done 6 times the float. So you get someone holding a large position long and they don't release it. There's no available shares for the intraday people that try to short this thing. So a good look. Ultimately, a little bit late in the day, I certainly would never chase this thing up here because you've got overhead resistance on that daily chart, and I'm not aware of the catalyst here. It's like a therapeutics company. So when you have these like yada, yada, yada pharma stories, without knowing too much, it's a pure momentum play. And it looks like you've already made a nice little double top. So yeah, I feel like this is one that Sharif would have been all over.
Bye-bye futures.
For sure. Let's go up to the desk with Adara.
I just want to let you guys know here on X at TTV Research, you can get our implied earnings move calendar for tonight after the bell. This is a pretty big one. We do not have a single name reporting tonight after the bell that has an expected move of less than 10%. That's right. We're expecting at least 10% in all of these moves. In the case of BBAI and Microvast, we're actually expecting moves of greater than 20%. So check out this infographic on X at TTV Research. I also just posted a very long-form statistical analysis of some earnings moves on recent IPOs that I can talk about on the market recap. You can check that out right now for yourself on X at TTV Research. Back to you.
There's the big bear AI, the biggest of all bears, reporting tonight, and we'll figure out what that one. But there's Circle. They're reporting tomorrow morning, so this is going to be probably of much more interest than even any of those names, most likely.
Easily.
Right there. Their earnings call tomorrow at 8 a.m., so you got to trade it now to trade those earnings, right? And so, yeah, just for Circle, it's interesting to me because I have no idea what to expect from these guys. How has adoption of the stablecoins gone, I guess, is what we'll wait for. I guess it's going great. It seems like, USDC, which is what Circle is, continues to be used as a store of value, especially with people going on and off chain, keeping your money on chain right now and into a coin. So, if you make a little bit of money in the whatever altcoin land or Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever, and you want to sit in cash, this is where you go, right? So you go to USDC or you can go to Tether, but there's USDC right here, $1. So it's just holding its level, same as Tether. And it doesn't equate to nearly the market cap. So Tether right now, 164 billion, and USDC right there at 65 billion. So a little bit of a different market cap going through than Tether, but we'll wait to see if it does hold and what some of their transactions volumes look like and where they're making money. I was trying to look it up. There's very few analyst coverage, but I guess you'll look for guidance, see how the business is working out for Circle, and that's going to come tomorrow. I would say look out below. But again, I don't really know what to expect, but a break here of 150 ain't going to be nice for Circle. The expected move, great question there. Again, Adara has it at Trader TV Research, but because you asked for their 2 NY cent, the expected move on Big Bear AI, 19%. Adara has written down that the last move was just minus 2%. So I don't know. Sometimes these guys are a little bit disappointing.
2%?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it did last time. There was that accounting issue, so it was up and then it was back down in. Look, for me on Big Bear AI, I've already sort of made my bed and now I just lie in it, and we're long at $4, so $4.20 or so. And it's at $7.10. Our last out was $8.50. We got out $6.50 and $8.50. Now we're kind of stuck in the middle right now, and we're going to wait to see what happens with literally in the middle now. $1.50 up, $1.50 down. Let's just sit in it and wait to see what winds up happening. This is not a make or break decision print for me. But, I'd like to take some risk here. We also did buy Oscar before earnings, and wow, oh boy, has that worked out great for us. We're long Oscar at $13.60. This is as of last week, so we'll put $2.10 in our pocket right there. So that's been a nice little return of income for us there on Oscar into our swing account. We recently bought Eli Lilly, got out of some SMR. You guys know about that. Nothing else really been happening there. I was thinking about buying a little bit more of Burke down into here. Haven't really done much with this lately either. It's kind of feels like catching a falling knife here on Berkshire, but we know that they own a lot of, we recently bought Apple at 212, and that was actually a good one because that went down to 205 or 203, something like that against us before popping back up. But again, I like that space. And I mean, it's always good to be in the futures, especially when they're at days low. So there it goes again, man. That's going to be a decent trade for me to make here at the end of the day. We'll see if we can get out, man. Here it goes. Give it to me. We're at 91.42. See if we can get a downside print here for the TQQs. And hey, man, we've put it on there again. So trading the futures with the Nasdaq triple levered ETF in the form of the TQQs. Now we're 50 cents in the money on this one. And Neil's going to go pay some bills here.
Well, if you're looking at the futures, Circle, BBAI, or any of the names that are in play today, you're going to want a platform which gives you the data reliably so that you can analyze, strategize, and do it for free for a month. Come on, we've been talking about this for a while. eSignal, first month free. You try it out. It's easy to use. You can have the imbalance locator, which will be in about 13 minutes. We'll get the imbalances, level 2 access as well. Every indicator you can imagine, you back test. You can trade with multiple. You can trade directly through multiple brokers on the eSignal platform. API access as well, so you can automate your trades. You can do stock screeners, so you can see a hot list. What's at the top of mind right now? Tesla's up there, something called ATLN, don't even know what that is. Apple's up there as well. Palantir moving around as I look at my screener popping off here. Tesla as usual, Nvidia. It's really just the fact that it's a month free. You scan the QR code, you try it out for a month. If you like it, you like it. Everyone here uses it. And if you don't, fair enough. It was free for a month anyways. And you can test some stuff and get some information. So shout out to eSignal. We want to thank them. And there was one name. You can see I'm typing in CRM because this is one stock. Obi and I were having this discussion. This is, well, actually, no, it was you and I were having it. It was before, maybe it was Thursday, it wasn't Friday.
I'm adding IBM to this discussion now.
Well, IBM, we mentioned IBM, but just maybe a name that's doing worse than you thought is the best way to think about it. CRM is about to break down under 230. You can't even look at a daily chart. We go back to a weekly chart here. I don't even know why I tried the daily. You have the 200 period breaking and the 230 level, which is monstrous in terms of support for CRM, while the market's at the highs. So apparently the AI play isn't working out so great for Salesforce. That is a huge break trade at the 230 level at some point. And it's a stock that, look, I've owned it. I'm like, why do I still want it? But at some point, something has to come to shove. Push comes to shove. Admittedly, it's one thing to say day trade would probably look for a breakdown, but on the other end of the coin, looking for a place to buy it. I'd be much more interested in picking up the divvy and getting IBM at 220 to get some dividend than just blindly bidding on CRM. But that's a stock a little more broken in the chart than you would have thought when the Qs are doing what they're doing near all-time highs.
I agree with that. This BMNR is still trying to, that's why I added IBM, because you were talking about doing maybe potentially worse than what anybody had thought, and we really like that IBM trade. So I don't know, interesting one there as we talked about that, as they had a good quarter potentially there. So okay, just looking right now, we do have BMNR, and I'm just trying to wait to see about this break, and we'll take it. Again, if it does break through 60.50, I want that trade, and then I might just give it 50 cents. Like if it doesn't go immediately and someone comes in and buys it back, then we can just tap out. I mean, I don't know what this, we're probably gonna miss on the punch out. I'm punching down 20 cents. So we may miss it. I mean, here's the spread right here is 11 cents as we speak, 86 to 75. Look, I mean, you could get lucky. This does not show the mid prints, but there it is now, 20 cents. I feel like we'll get it if it breaks. And then I'm just going to throw it out again to break out long if it does break against me, breaking through 61.50 or so. Back to the upside. So we'll wait to see. Here it comes. Okay, it just got bought up again. I feel like the trade might be to go long down there, but the thing is that if you go long and it winds up breaking, then it's like, uh-oh, where do I get out on the way down? So we'll try to play the momentum breaking lower, but it looks like, again, we may have just missed the boat on taking that long there. So this is just a tale of two trades. It's either going to break and you look smart for trying that, or you look kind of silly because the long just keeps on printing. So for me, again, the logic for me is let's wait to see if it wants to break. It's been down here a bunch of times. If that dam explodes and does wind up breaking, then I think we could have a good trade. We just got to make sure that we hit it. And I don't know if we're going to, but like I said, I'm crossing down 20 cents, hoping to get that fill. And we have a bunch of different routing keys. Everybody should use whichever one they want. They'll all pretty much work very similarly. And then that's when you judge to see where you get those fills and where you do not. But here it comes. We're going to see. We're just 8 minutes away. There could be an imbalance on this. This is an Amex name. So I guess I can look right here. I do have the Amex locator. And it's not on there. So
there's a few Amex names. But usually,
okay, you have it on blown up there. I don't have it blown up.
Usually it'll be like an ETF or something. Like we've seen.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Shoot.
Nope.
It's the.
Which one? Oh.
No, whatever the Chinese. K-Web?
Oh, K-Web? Yeah, FXI?
Well, sometimes you see GDX for sure.
Yep. GLD, a SPY.
TLT is one that you see all the time.
TLT's a Nasdaq.
I have found that they're never, if an ETF has an imbalance, it's like 1 time out of 50 that it actually does something. Sure. Individual stock, great, but ETFs on the imbalance locator, the history for them I don't really think is all that great. That said, if you find something that works, fair enough. So, yeah, Tilray broke the trend and is not doing anything. Like it breaks the upward trend since it's been holding since VWAP. I got in at like 90 and a quarter, and I have a stop at 91. It just tried to break down. I'll just leave the stop where it is. But the up move was much better than the down move because I guess the weed names like to get high, for lack of a better term. Oklo, this is one selfishly hoping that it does better than what we're seeing here today on OKLO. Because when I was putting in trend lines, unfortunately, oh no. Of course,
I get $60.35.
Still loading.
It did break this BMNR.
It did?
Yeah,
it
Oklo broke.
Oklo broke trend down today already.
It's not.
This to me, this stock is a short tomorrow unless something drastic happens to the upside.
So we'll sit in this and see if it wants to. if it wants to do something. Right there, as we just had something go boom a little bit there. I think that's probably Fabian not helping Ramin over
that's
there.
why you help.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, here it goes. We'll wait to see what happens to the downside now. We got punched in. The dam does not break really on BMNR. So hopefully it comes in and we'll be able to have a decent trade. I am bidding something at 60 flat. So we're going to get out of 10%. If it does come into 60 flat, that would be nice. And then we're bidding another 10% down below 60 bucks at 59.60. Hopefully that can come in as well. But for right now, it looks like they're trying to, I mean, it's not breaking 20s right here on BMNR. I'm not even looking at Ethereum. I don't know what Ethereum's doing. I don't care. But we're going to wait.
SBET broke to its low.
SBET broke, it's fine. I mean, we're, like guys mentioned, we're just trading this just because this is what we do, man. The level broke. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Here's a nice downside play. That's it. Yes, sir. Here we go. Let's go. Let's see what we can do now on BMNR. So a good little trade there. I hope you're having some excitement. I mean, Neil's trading this little penny stock. We've been trading futures there with the Qs, and now BMNR. So again, money to be made everywhere, man. This is the best part about what we're doing here. Trade whatever makes you comfortable right there. And we're trying, but looks like we just did bounce off of 60 bucks again right now. So I'm actually sitting in here. I'm part of this lineup right here, and we did not get filled. So there it is. Now we do. Another breakdown would be nice. We're looking for lows now to see if we can get going. But for me, the stop is above $61. So now that we can only make 50 cents at most, let's go 61. Let's just get out if it breaks through 61.20. I don't know. We'll see if that can go. We'll get out. But we did, reload it a little. Not reload it. We got another out there at 60.10. So this might not be anything. But we're in it just in case it is something. BMNR right now to the downside. As the futures, I mean, life is good, man. When you're short the Nasdaq here, as the Nasdaq is well at day's low right now. So we've been shorting this name from 2 o'clock. So hopefully the last hour, 45 minutes has been a very profitable one for everybody. And there we go, man. Futures downside again.
Yeah, good look over there. And look, Tilray just went to the upside. It gave you like 8% on the breakout to the upside, but it doesn't go anywhere on the downside play reversal. This stock looks like it's still long. And thank you, Jam Lofi, for correcting this in the chat. Apparently they have till the 20th. You say not the 17th. 21st, sorry, not the 17th, to get to $1. So the clock is ticking, but they've got some time. They get 90 cents with the strength that I'm seeing. I think it makes a run. But even when it gets there, you have to hold it. You can't just get to $1. You got to hold $1 for 10 days in a row. So there's opportunities everywhere. You just have to find what's actually moving.
Oh, boy.
The market moving down, weed stocks moving up. I'm looking over and seeing AMD continues to fall. That never broke trend, so thank goodness we didn't get into that long. It just couldn't trend anywhere to the upside. Trade one stock this afternoon, and it was a good long trade, and that's pretty much it. But Hertz Scrambler, I see your super chat, and this is now, it's seeming like a theme. We get a question about IBM. You mentioned CRM, and now you want to know about Adobe. Will it ever get out of its funk? Never owned it, don't want to own it. And I never try to make bottoms. Or sorry, that's not true. I never try to guess that you're going to make a bottom. Let it make a rounded bottom. Let it hold a low. This stock has been sick for a while. Under the 50, under the 200 period, trending down while the market's going up. So regardless, I don't even know if anybody uses it. Whether you use it or not, or what you think of the product, it doesn't really matter. The market is really speaking on this one for quite some time. So yeah, it might double bottom here, but someone asked about a double top in the futures. I never care about that stuff until it bounces or reacts off of it. I assume the trend continues until I see otherwise. And there's nothing on this chart that says Adobe is trying to catch a bit of a low. If I liked the company as a long-term hold, sure, I may take a shot at this double bottom. But it's not a stock I want to own. And until you start to see it break any trend, get above the 50-period moving average, show you something real. I appreciate the super chat, but yeah, I'm just not seeing it. And Ichiro just said in the chat too, I've heard Fabian say this, they got greedy with the subscription model. So, you've had some people complaining about that for a while, and maybe that's what's weighing on it. Or there could just be better alternatives out there in the market, everybody. So yeah, unfortunately, not a big fan.
There's always alternatives to trading as well. You could take dollars, you could take pennies, you could do nothing. I think that's option as well. There goes the futures right now into the lows of the day, and then there goes there goes BMNR I mean, like I said, not trying to do anything fancy here. It's now $1 in the money on BMNR, and only 2 minutes now until imbalances. So I'm actually out of a third. I think about getting out of some more. Let's just get out of a little bit more there. I'll punch out a 24 if we, there we go, we got it. I am still bidding 59 flat, so if we can get that, that would be good, actually 59.08. But it's $1 in the money, and it's just like, you know, starting to go. Obviously, these futures as well have been a really good trade. And as we get close, there we go, as I said, as we get closer and closer into those imbalances, man, we're not going to let this go against us. We're glad to be back in the captain's chair here today. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Obi for covering for me on Friday. I'm sure it was a great day, as well as today. And it doesn't matter if we put on winning trades or not. We've sort of proven that. It's more just about having that connection with you guys and answering the questions and trying to be, you know, as grateful for you guys being here as hopefully you are for us. So big shout out to everybody out there. You know, that's trading. And today's been a little bit of a snooze fest, but I think we found some decent trades, and especially with going short. I mean, those were key. And I mean, this is also, like, I'm pretty proud of getting away from this too. Like Nvidia, we got away from that. We did some good moves getting away from stock last week as well, before the eventual fallout. I think there was one on Coinbase, or maybe it was Nvidia before last week as well. We're just feeling pretty good about what we've been doing there. I'm gonna take out another piece right here. I'll just punch out some at 63s right there on BMNR. Just sort of trying to stack this up, as now we only have 10 seconds to go until those imbalances. So we'll just call these up right here. We'll get rid of the brokers, so we only see the active posts. And right now, here it comes with 3, 2, and 1. We'll get this updated right now as those imbalances are in. So there it is right now. Bye-bye BMNR down to 59. See if we get that 59 flat print. That'd be pretty nice. And there it is right there, Neil. There's the face slapper is here, man. We've got all of this right now. The TQs are starting to go back up to the upside. We'll punch out, but there it is right there. A buck and change right there on BMNR. We just saw a nice bid there as well at 59, so we'll see if that can hold as well. But there it goes, nice downside play. And if your stock is on here, hopefully you found it, because that's all of them. There's not much. Robinhood maybe with a small sell. There goes Robinhood to the downside as well. But hey, man, the trading is happening right here for me. There's 59 break short, man. We're short at $60.40. There it goes to the downside. So yeah. Boom! This is going to be hopefully $2 now in the money as we go a little bit lower now on this name. Futures going lower, Neil. BMNR going lower. It's been a great opportunity here today, and I'm glad we were able to find this one for you. And hope you guys took it with some confidence, because BMNR really working out. And it's been a good afternoon because of that, and because the futures. I know you had Tilray, which was great as well.
Yeah, you only need one. That's sort of the thing. And Bill's Camp.
That's for sure.
Shout out to Bill's Camp in there. I don't care about the preseason, but I liked what I saw. I'll leave it at that. Pfizer is always on the list because Pfizer has a gigantic float, huge float on a big company. So there's always enough action that you just see big imbalances that mean nothing on Pfizer. Just to give you a quick little answer on that. Most of these imbalances, you don't care unless it's a big portion. Like notionally, it's only a $26 stock, Pfizer, I believe, or something like that. $25, $24, even worse. So you want to see a big number. Tens of millions of shares, if it's a cheap company, is going to matter. Maybe you get 5 on Nvidia, and that's absolutely gigantic. But everything is within proportion when it comes to the locator, and there's absolutely nothing going on this one as far as I'm concerned. Like, you're just not going to see anything that's exciting on the locator today. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Lights are back on. A little bit of mood lighting for a split second there. That was a little bit interesting. That's fine. ASTS, one of the names that's going to be reporting after the bell. I feel like all of these are coming back down to earth. It's not an automatic that it's headed to the downside, but we've been talking about how weak a lot of these space names have been, and I've learned my lesson after Rocket Labs on Friday, where admittedly Rocket Labs was a great breakout trade, but the reversal was much better to the south side. So I want to play that momentum. If we get a reversal opportunity or any kind of a short chance tomorrow morning on ASTS, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Rocket Labs gave it up like twice as big.
All right, guys, with only 8 minutes left, I mean, now we're into double dollar clubs. Now we have $2.50 because the TQQs just went into the dollar club right now, as well as the Nasdaq puking all over itself. Nicely down to the downside. Bye-bye futures. There it goes. Here's the short here on that break. There's the reload short, and Buy. BMNR as well, $1.50 in the money. You know, no Sharif, no problem. We'll trade this name to the short side. There it goes. Huge trade alert there for BMNR to end the day. And that's about it for me, man. Go follow me at Trader TV, Sean. We have at Trader TV research going through. We're trying to put, whoopsies, I should hide that. We should also put in the fact that, you know, the sticky notes on here, we're all on here. And I follow Trader TV research. This is Trader TV Live's page right there. You can even watch us live right now on X. So go in there, figure that out. But that's pretty cool right now live here on X. You can go get over there. Now I got to turn this off. Stop, man. I'm hearing myself in my ear. All right, that's that. So, you know, we can commentate on this show. We could do it all, but hopefully we're also showing the ability to get some bangers on right here. So that's BMNR, that is TQQ. I found my role over here, and what your role is to hit the like and the subscribe and get that going. Adara's also found her role pretty good over at the news desk. Let's go find out what she's up to.
Keep an eye on INTC. CNBC reporting that the CEO of Intel, Lip Bhutan, has arrived at the White House. We know we previously had some reports that Lip Bhutan was going to be meeting with Donald Trump today. Last week, of course, President Donald Trump actually called for Lip Bhutan to resign via a True Social post. We'll have to see how this meeting goes. As far as I'm aware, it's not set to be televised. But according to CNBC, Lip Bhutan has arrived to meet with President Trump. Back to you.
I don't know what's going to get said there, but I don't see how it makes any bit of a difference. That being said, I know what can make a difference is checking out something new with Trade the Pool. Right now, Trade the Pool has created something special, a free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on. So you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen in front of you or hitting the link that can be found in the description. And a thank you to Trade the Pool for sponsoring that section. There weren't any big imbalances to move at 355. Lucid showed up out of nowhere for $1 million to sell. That's right back down toward $2. That's about the only level that Lucid has held in the last 52 weeks. The $2 level has been a good one. That's nothing really else to look at for that stock. Tesla sliding with the rest of the market down here. It is looking rather nasty. I am a little bit interested in the fact that as we tank, believe it or not, I think Tilray might be along again tomorrow. It is flat out not dropping, which is surprising. Usually there's a boatload of profit takers when these things go 40% to the upside or any of them, whether it's MSOS, which is getting off the schneid. So there could be something real about this move. You're holding those highs. Obviously, the history of these stocks isn't good, but when you're above the 50 and the 200 period moving average on a downward trending stock, that's actually not bad. That means there could be something to the weed names for a couple of days here before they go back to doing what they usually do. We want to see BBAI do something big. It's a trader's aftermarket show in terms of movement. Whether it's ASTS, whether it's BBAI, we saw what can happen in names like Rocket Lab last week, where the moves were completely insane. It gave you essentially on Friday 7 or 8% back and forth multiple times on a single stock, which you don't see happen intraday. It happens on those small caps. You're very rarely going to see a big cap stock go 5 to 10% multiple times throughout a single day, where you can try to capture those moves. I don't know if Rocket Labs will ever do that again until their next earnings, but you have another one in the space like ASTS, which I think has every opportunity to give you that kind of a play. And I'm willing to trade in either direction. I was only going long on Rocket Labs. That was a mistake on Friday. I think you're willing to play ASTS whichever way it goes. And we'll probably have to pay for shorts. Archer, Aviation as well, going to be moving. It doesn't really matter. They're all double digits. They're all expected 15 to 20% on those higher end names. BBAI is actually lower, I think.
BBA is high, 19%.
Well, it's 19, and something else was only 12%. I was like, really? They're all really good tonight. What was it? What was the 12%er? Oh, it was Archer's the one. Archer's the one that's only 12%.
Okay.
That's the smallest, and it moved double that the previous earnings. So you know that can go big. Oklo, of course, as well. And, I forgot to mention, I sold some GE Vernova.
Nice.
Well, we'll see. You know what they say? I've been told many times that you don't sell things at highs. I break that rule all the time when I'm taking profits. To me, if you're managing the size of positions and that kind of a thing, or how much you have in a certain space, how am I never selling or trimming at a high? I took 10% out. I said if it was under 60.50 on Friday that I would sell some GE Vernova. Well, it opened under 60.50, so I sold it at the open. Sold some shares at the open. I still own the position.
Nice, good.
I think it's getting frothy with all of these nuclear plays. Anyways, that's just my opinion, because we got all that CapEx spend that we wanted, and we stopped making new highs.
Right.
After all the big names reported, we stopped making new highs in all of those names. So as far as I'm concerned, at least for now, I'm no longer holding everything. I might even get another 10% out if we don't move the next quarter. I'm going to get up to the desk, make sure everything is locked in. A great trade on the future. We see what happens into the close, and I'll leave it at that for what I saw this weekend. I love, anyways, the deep is here. Nice.
Yeah. I might take this away because last year this was bad luck, so this might disappear. It's not. I think it's a bad. I think the Bills, unless they win the Super Bowl.
Oh, anything but the Super Bowl is a disappointment.
Yeah, I think that's like. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's going to be bad luck or good luck again this year. But yeah, the futures again, huge trade there to end the day. We're just going to punch out now as it goes back up to the upside, and then I would hold this overnight if I could, but we cannot. So I'm going to get out right now of BMNR, and again, there it is. I just said punch out. Big trading to end the day with only 30 seconds left. I want to thank everybody for joining us one more time. Here today. Adara will be ringing the bell, so that should be fun into the close. We had Raheem Alani's kid, which will forever be the best bell ring, and we look forward to him coming back, hopefully next time Raheem's here, as he went to Montessori school. Again, there's Adara. I don't know why exactly you're down there, but here we go. With only 6 seconds left, we do want to thank VinFast right now with 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, VinFast, for sponsoring the closing show and the closing bell, brought to you by VinFast. Make sure you do scan that QR code ASAP. Look, I'm going to hang around for a couple minutes to watch out to see what happens with Big Bear AI. We've already talked about it. No expectations for this. Let's see if they can announce some more government contracts, what's in the pipeline for Big Bear AI, and what they're looking for moving forward. The quarter's now done. There was a very, very light news quarter, so any future looks on any sort of contracts from the U.S. government or others, again, big banks, possible airlines, schools, things like that for Big Bear AI as the major data player here, looking to put that all together similarly to Palantir. All right, man, it's 4 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I hope you guys have had a great time today. A lot of great trading there at the end of the day. Neil hit some Tilrays up. We had the Qs and that BMNR, which was a dream. I hope some of you had that, and if you didn't, then maybe you'll get it in a minute. But there goes Big Bear AI now up 2%, trying to go. There's 30s. I don't know if it's out yet, but without any further ado, I got to look over there. I think we're ready to go, right, Andre? Say it in my ear, man. A Big Bear AI up 3%, starting to go. Let's go over to the desk and see if their numbers are up. There goes Big Bear temporarily. Wow.
Thank you very much. BBAI to the upside, plug to the downside. Your market recap brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex is in full effect. And look, I don't actually see the numbers. We weren't expecting BBAI. We weren't expecting BBAI until 4:15, but it looks like somebody got in early, and it's 5% to the upside here. Big time move. Plug Power is to the downside, but let's be real. Does anybody care about Plug Power? No, I'm not. My hand's not up. It's like if I was up, then I'd be doing this. Maybe people care about Plug Power, but the AI space is going to be a bigger mover. We were expecting here a 20% or 19% implied move. So really this 7%, without even seeing the numbers out here, might be considered small potatoes, but a win is a win. You take what you can get and you won't be upset. Plug got unplugged, or throw whatever pun you want to throw out there. It's a $1 stock, $1.60 stock, down to $1.40. Down 11% is Plug Power. And worth keeping in mind, it's mostly small cappers that are reporting this Monday. It's a bunch of smaller names that we're expecting to have some bigger moves. So not a shock. As a matter of fact, down 5% on Plug is a third of the implied move. 16% was expected. So you can make an argument that it's not even that bad.
I have Plug Power earnings. Here they are. So they did miss here on earnings. They lost 20 cents per share. That is greater than the expected loss of 16 cents. Sales, $173.97 million. That actually did beat estimates of $157.109 million. So good look here for PLUG. Apparently Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac closed at their highest level since 2008. Yep. I don't have anything on BBAI yet, guys. I'm going to keep looking into those numbers. But right now, I mean, Plug Power and Archer Aviation were the only ones we were expecting before 4:15. I'm going to check on BBAI here, Neil, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll make sure we get the X machine up. A lot of times you can just have over exuberance, maybe some short sellers that are like, I'm thinking twice about holding this into earnings. Certainly when you have that high, when you have a decent short float and you've had a runner like this, let's be real, you can get some people nervous. I do see one source that's throwing a number out here for BBI.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, I've seen one that's, never mind, they just reiterated the expected. You made me click.
Yeah,
we're expecting we're expecting a small loss with them. If they were to turn a profit, that would be the big surprise. It's like 6 cents per share loss, I think is what we're looking for. Here with BBAI, revenue of 40 million is the expectation. So when we get that through, then we will see what is good. I just saw in the chat, what time is Oklo? Oklo's not expected till 4:30. Now, just because there's a time expected for earnings doesn't mean that is the moment they're going to come out. Ask Mark Zuckerberg a couple quarters about that. When we waited the entirety of the show for them to finally drop earnings, I think at like 4:30 or 4:35, we expected at 4:15. So it's not always an exact science. That being said, we are expecting Oklo at 4:30, so we may or may not see them. ASTS as well, 4:30. It's Archer, that 405 that is expected to be next. So as I watched BBAI, it flashed all the way to 770. BBAI was almost up 10% at one point without the numbers coming out. And now coming back in here and still holding up 4 points after market, almost 5% to the upside. But it is Archer that we are expecting second here, Adara. 0 for 1 because Plug Power to the downside. Archer had a bit of a flat day, though trending down most of the session. And as we were mentioning when we were at the desk, and to the downside. As I was saying, a bunch of these space names have not been reacting well, whether it's the recent IPOs, not good for Voyager, not good for Fly. Right now, not looking good for Archer, down 6%, almost 7 points to the downside, breaking $9. We're in the red. That's 0 for 2. Plug downside, Archer downside. What do we have?
I have Marathon Digital news, actually. Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital reportedly said to be near a $168 million deal for its ETH unit. If I have more details, I'll let you know. But either way, MARA did get a little bit of a pop initially on this. I'm waiting here for the Archer Aviation numbers. I'm keeping an eye out on those. If we have a little bit of time, I would love to talk a little bit about what we're expecting here for Circular Core Weave, because I did some statistical analysis of some other recent IPOs and what they did with their first couple of earnings reports. And there is a really interesting pattern. So we'll get into that later. But Archer Aviation right now, I'm not seeing anything here with regards to these earnings. I'm not seeing anything for our friend BBAI yet as well. Microvast here, MVST asks G Talk in the chat. We're not expecting that till 5 p.m. So unfortunately, we're not going to get those while we're with you, but I put them on the calendar nonetheless. We can always get things early. USAR, which we know has been on watch lately, I do have earnings for that though, Neil, and they're actually doing quite well. USA Rare Earths net loss here, $142.7 million versus last year's net loss of $2.8 million. That is quite an expansion here of the net loss, but their adjusted loss per share is actually better on a year-over-year basis. They lost 8 cents per share this quarter this year versus a 13-cent loss last year. Their adjusted net loss is just slightly worse than what they had last year. So mixed report here for USAR, but either way, the stock pushing higher. This is also, we know rare earth is a hot sector to be in regardless.
It is, and with a deal not a deal, I should say a 90-day pause once again coming through. It keeps another reign of volatility for all the rare earth metals names. Not everything is settled, which means we can still see some movement. I know Steve Talman likes this name. He was mentioning this as a potential breakout this week. We'll have to check back on him next week to see, by the end of the week, to see if it gets a break, because it hasn't broken out yet. Yes, USAR is up slightly, bouncing aftermarket after those earnings, but the truth is it actually broke down today, losing the breakout that it had on Friday on the daily chart. We saw MP Materials come back pretty heavily itself in its own regard, like MP, the leader of the group, the rare earth group, having a one heck of a reversal. It was blasting this morning before a hefty reversal trend that started just at about 950 or so and never really stopped, closing near its lows of the day. So yeah, Archer is the one And unfortunately plugged to the downside. Archer with a little bit of a bounce here, so you're catching a bit of a bit on Archer. I'm still not even seeing the numbers on Archer. I don't know if you are, but I'm not seeing any numbers on Archer. It's plug power that really took it on the chin the most. And BBAI, we're expecting at about 415. It's still trading higher. What's interesting, a lot of times if you see someone take positions before the earnings are even out, a lot of times it'll just come right back in. This one's trying to hold up here even without the numbers being out. So I guess somebody's feeling at least a little bit confident that their little fat finger or their buying into the aftermarket is going to hold up for these bad boys. Ooh, I like what I see in the chat here. Save man woman in the chat. Where were you? Right in here. Joby will sell in sympathy. Never forget that's what I like how you think. Never forget the sympathy plays. If you're looking over at Archer, don't forget about Joby. If you're looking at Oklo, don't forget about SMR. Every now and then, as a trader, especially as a day trader, you're going to see potentially easier trades on the sympathy play because you might have a fraction or two to be able to chase it afterwards. You've already seen the move one way, and you're not going to be able to catch the move when earnings come out. Maybe you can't catch the move off the open or the reversion, but you can do it in that sympathy play. So know what it is that you're looking at. I don't know if BBAI has one, but certainly when it comes to Archer, you can jump on and look at Joby. When it comes to OKLO, which we're not going to see report likely until 4:30, if you're looking at OKLO, make sure you're checking out NEE and SMR. Both of those names are going to move big time. SMR had a bit of a rough day, as Oklo did, selling off on the way to these earnings tonight.
Yeah, I was going to type here in the chat. We had a nice little mixed report from GoPro GPRO. Adjusted losses of 8 cents per share, outpacing the expected loss of 6 cents per share. Sales $152.64 million, nicely beating estimates of $59.02 million. We had Getty earnings as well, $234.9 million versus $234.8 million expected. That is basically in line. Adjusted EBITDA, $68 million. That is a slight miss compared to estimates of $71.3 million. That is GETY, GPRO. I do apologize, guys. I do not have anything yet when it comes to ACHR or BBAI. Of course, I will inform you guys when we have that. This is, yes, sorry, this is not my shirt. This is just, you don't have to show this right now. This is, yeah,
Archer's right back to where it opened.
Is Archer still moving?
It bounced all the way back. It's now green.
Oh,
Archer is now up 1%. So from down almost double digits to back into the green, you had the entire move reversed here on Archer. But that's what happens with these small cap names, right? Like it's momentum based. And regardless, I do see one place which is saying they were in line on revenue.
I have ACHR.
You have them? Okay, go ahead. Let's see what the numbers are for real.
I don't see the revenue. People are saying they've been out now. Okay, yeah, even when I'm seeing this full report, I'm still not seeing the revenue, so I do apologize. Q2 adjusted earnings here, adjusted, it's a loss of 17 cents per share versus estimates of 20 cents per share loss. It's worth noting I'm seeing wildly different estimates and numbers across the board for Archer, so just be aware of that. Net loss here, $206 million. Adjusted EBITDA, negative $118.7 million. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing how this compares to estimates. They are expecting an adjusted EBITDA loss between $110 million and $130 million for Q3 25. That's all I have right now for Archer. I apologize, it's not a lot of information, but I'm not seeing any revenue.
The thing is, like, none of that sounds very good, but remember, like, for a lot of these runners, it's most of these moves have not been about fundamentally what's your price to earnings and all that kind of stuff. You're not thinking about that when you're in. Well, maybe you are thinking about that when you're an Archer. If you are, I personally would suggest maybe you shouldn't because it's a momentum play. And momentum-wise, it seems like nothing could be good here. If bad numbers result in flat, I look at those names as that's somewhat of a positive. If it doesn't move, I said this before, if this stock, you look at the daily chart, if Archer does not move on, come to my chart for a second, if we can. There. Oh, we have Michael. Okay, I'm going to get to Michael in a quick little second. But anyways, just suffice to say, if Archer can hold on a bad report and a big EPS miss, if we do not lose this 950 level, I think that's a good sign as far as I'm concerned. And anything that is bad news that doesn't fall on a squeeze name is a positive sign for tomorrow's trade. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and hold it through 950 if I take a long, but I'll have a look at it. But what we all have to do right now is get to some trader top because we just spoiled it. the man, the myth, the legend himself is locked and loaded and ready to go. So let's get a little bit of trader talk with our good friend, the Nos Boss. Michael, long time no see. Always good to see our good friend Michael Nos, resident CMT over there at Stats Edge. It's been a little bit. How's your Monday going?
It's going well. I don't know if you guys are getting the same weather. We've got heat warnings. We got droughts over here. They're not letting us in the woods anymore. It's getting pretty crazy.
Well, yeah. If anyone that doesn't know, Michael is out east in Canada. Here in Southern Ontario near Toronto, we have like wildfires going on like north of us. You're not supposed to be watering your lawn. There's water restrictions, of course. My lawn looks like I'm not breaking the rules, so my lawn looks terrible right now. And so it's most of the same. It's ridiculously hot. The market was hot this morning, and then we get a reversal. And then on top of that, what happens when we get this 90-day pause? Or not 90-day extension, 90-day extension between the U.S. and China before the deadline tomorrow? We sell off. So once again, the market struggles to break these highs, Michael.
Yeah, I'm looking at this more technically, and we need a little bit of a rest here. So here's just the S&P 500, just up higher lows. Like we haven't broken a previous day's low in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. So I'm looking at this as kind of, I gave a whole presentation this morning about how I still like the fact that a lot of people out there are short. I think this might be them defending shorts, doing a little bit of maybe sell the news type of thing. And the idea here is that once we get a little bit of just a bleed off here, one day that breaks the prior day's low kind of has to happen at some point in the near future. I still think we're trending higher. I have this purple line right here, and it's just the low of this big candle. That's the area that I'm looking to get defended on any kind of a pullback. But we need some sort of economic numbers. We didn't really have anything today that we care about at all.
No, but I mean, tomorrow we're going to get CPI, and then on Thursday, I believe we get PPI. Still, after the last, the big moves in the expected rate cut discussion, which now is sitting at like 86% chance we get it, the labor market really mattered more, but you never know. Like inflation, I'm not sure what print would give us some juice, and unless we get something drastic, I don't think the IWM is going to do much from here to there. Can I ask you, just very quickly, like when we're at the highs, you talk a lot about rotation, right? And I've heard you talk a lot say rotation before, but there's something that you responded to something JC Perret said, if you don't mind opining on this a little bit here, that I don't think we've heard you talk about. I'm just going to show everybody. And here, JC was saying more constituents doesn't necessarily mean more diversified. In fact, it really does in my experience. I would encourage you to learn what diversification actually means. And then your response was system diversification is greater than asset diversification. Could I just, for the viewers here, could we get your thoughts and expand maybe what you meant by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have seen, if you've lived through kind of any bear markets, and I think in more particularly any crash, like I'm thinking the tariff tantrum, an example, you can go through most charts out there and you see this same kind of down move. If I go to, Bitcoin and we look at April, we were selling off in Bitcoin. If I go to, Nvidia randomly, we were selling off there. There was very few places that you could actually go that you could spread your money out into in order to have some sort of diversification. So this diversification thing, I don't think it's always bad, but we know, and there's lots of studies to prove this, is that when the market gets really, really crashy or really, really toppy or in a bear market, what we say is correlations go to 1. So basically everything gets correlated in panic. When the market's moving higher, you get some asset kind of diversification because sometimes you have some sectors moving, sometimes you have other sectors moving. So what I meant by system diversification and what we do at Stats Edge Trading is I'm kind of a proponent that there's no trading style or philosophy or system that works all the time. So what I'm spending all of my time doing is building complementary systems. So for example, during the tariff tantrum, we were doing a whole lot of mean reverting. and we were buying dips and selling rips, and that kind of kept us alive and was doing okay when our longer term investment systems were underperforming and going through quite a pretty significant drawdown. So the idea is that between swing trading, day trading, mean reversion, breakout trading, pullback trading, the more systems you kind of put together and sandwich together, as long as you've tested that they're uncorrelated, generally speaking, the smoother your equity curve over time. This is why you'll see people even just, and I bet you this isn't something you've studied, but for Neil, who does day trading and has got his own personal portfolio and things like that, the idea is that if the market is going really volatile range bound, the day trading is probably amazing. And then if the market's just slowly trending higher and very low volatility, day trading is probably a lot harder and your swing trading is doing well. So the more you can split up what it is you're doing with different systems, the better off you'll be. Now, it's really hard if you're fully discretionary. If you're more systematic like me, it's a little bit easier. But that's what I'm saying, is that there's really no place to hide in crashes other than multiple systems that are either trading to the short side or trading short-term in nature or something like that.
Yeah, well said. And speaking of nowhere to hide, I got to jump right over to Adara because right now there is nowhere to hide on the BBAI bid. BBAI earnings just came out. I want to make sure we get the numbers here. It's falling rather heavily, down 15%, and it was even lower.
Hey guys, if you saw it in the chat, I did post the earnings at least 3 times in the chat. Well, Michael Nuss was talking to make sure everyone covered them, but these are really bad. Losses of 71 cents per share versus the expected loss of 6 cents per share. That is a 1,083% miss. That is correct.
My goodness.
Also down 1,320% year over year and 184% quarter over quarter. Revenue is also a pretty significant miss. They missed by 20% here compared to estimates. $32.472 million in revenue versus the estimate of $40.58 million in revenue. Revenue down 18% year over year, 7% quarter over quarter. It is a bad report all around here for BBAI.
And you're seeing them take it on the chin. OKLO also came out, by the way, and it reversed its entire move. It actually went 10% to the downside. Now it's flat. So just like Archer, OKLO actually able to catch a bit of a bid here. But I wanted to, Michael, look, I've always put you on the spot on this show. BBAI, this is a name which has gone, it's literally done, it's done a triple up this year. Oh. And then on top of that triple up, it did a quadruple already, again, going back to this, well, maybe not a quadruple, like a three and a half times here. This is now the third time, and each move is a little bit more shallow. You could argue that maybe it's forming a wedge, but that's a big breakdown. First time it's back under the 50-period moving average. It's been a squeeze trade market, but we've talked about the IWM not moving. What level of, if you were looking at this from a technical standpoint, I'd imagine you'd be out of a swing long. But when it comes to catching a falling knife, technically, what do you see here with BBI? The report not good. The technicals don't look like there's anything great after losing $6 here. What would your take be on the spot?
Yeah, Dara said their earnings were $32 million, and it's a $2.6 billion company. To me, I'm not a fundamental analyst, but that makes absolutely no sense. You're making peanuts compared to your market cap, and you're losing that much money. And that might have been okay if you go back to BBAI. That might have been okay back when this IPO'd in 2021, maybe even 2022. But the way I'm looking at a lot of these names now is if you are hemorrhaging money that much in an interest rate environment that's 5+, you've got to have that growth that's happening. It's the only way that you can potentially survive, because you can't just go to the bank and get 0% interest anymore. One thing that was interesting I was looking at while you were talking there is the short float date on this. So the short really started to pile in anywhere between 2 and about 4 to 5. So as long as we're above that, even if we crash, I'm going to be interested to see tomorrow's candle. So obviously I wouldn't be taking a trade on it right now, because there's probably have a conference call coming up and that could reverse things and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I've got this area of about $5. It's interesting. It's also interesting that this short float, that 27% of the float is short. I just think you watch it for a couple days. If it's able to hold $5, and the reason that's important is it's right, this prior high back here and this high back here and then this one over here. So if we can hold that and dig in maybe. I just look at this and say, kind of like what you mentioned, that each rally seems to be shallower than the one before it. They're hemorrhaging money. They're missing earnings. They're making $40 million to be valued at $2 billion. This is something that maybe you play when the squeeze is on, and then you just kind of leave it alone after that.
Well, good. Very, very wise words. I always want to get your technical analysis. I love throwing you on the spot there, and I don't wonder if I can't do it again. But before we get there, I want to throw over to Adair for a quick second because we just had Oklo as well. So earnings are coming fast and furious here.
Sorry, not Oklo. We had ASTS.
No, it was ASTS.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I'll talk about BBAI guidance. They actually withdrew their fiscal 2025 adjusted EBITDA
worse.
guidance and the revisor fiscal 2025 revenue guidance lower. Just so you guys know, I am posting these updates in the chat. So in case you don't get to it right away live, we do apologize. You can always see them in the chat because I am extremely, extremely active, especially during earnings season, at putting them in the chat. So do not worry about that. Now, in terms of AST Space Mobile earnings, they might actually have something to worry about. Q2 adjusted losses of 41 cents per share versus the estimated loss of 21 cents per share. Sales, $1.156 million. Yes, that is right. $1.156 million versus estimates. I've seen a couple different estimates. I'm seeing 7.5 million. I'm seeing 5 million. Either way, they missed estimates for sales and they missed estimates for earnings per share. And if I have Oklo, I'll tell you guys.
Yeah, and I'm putting you on the spot once again here, Michael, because I know I'm not going to go over the whole small cap thing with a chart that's breaking down because ASTS is the same thing. But I have an interesting question for you that I've been thinking about, and you're the stats guru, and maybe you've got some insights on this. We've had some IPOs coming back this year, and we saw Circle, whether it was in Circle when it comes to all of the crypto plays, and that's of course more of a stablecoin thing. But then recently we had Voyager fail, that was a space IPO, and it trended down. We had Fly fail, that was a space IPO, and trended down. And I don't wonder, have you ever looked at something like big IPOs coming in as an indicator for an overall space, pun absolutely not intended in this case, to be a predictor? Is that something you've ever looked at when you have a hyped IPO in a certain sector or a couple of them, is that's forward predicting how they do in the first couple of days related to other sympathy kind of names? Because I see STS rolling over and the sentiment already was bad in the other two, and now these guys have bad earnings. It's not just a short. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, there's a couple interesting stats when it comes to IPO. One is kind of what you were, I think, alluding at, and it's been talked about a fair bit, that the more IPOs that come out, generally speaking, that's near the top of a market. And I think the real example for the most recent example for traders like us was the whole SPAC mania. The fact that there's just SPACs coming out like every day in end of 2021, 2022, you had, a lot of these are now gone. You had, that FaZe Clan, the gaming company that SPAC'd, and the Bird scooters that SPAC'd, and all of these companies are gone. So quite often what you have is, when you get this kind of IPO, or in that case, SPAC mania, you're kind of diluting the amount of speculative capital that can go out there. Where if, someone's sitting there with billions of dollars they want to put into speculative stuff, well, the more of these events there are, then the more spread out that's going to be, and the more chance that these things could potentially fail. And now, another interesting stat on why I think a lot of these might be the norm, where Circle and CoreWeave might be a little bit of the exception, is that 80%, I believe it's in the first 6 months, I'll have to relook up that stat, but I believe it's 80% of IPOs in the first 6 months undercut their IPO price. And it makes sense when you think about it. What are IPOs? Well, they're generally exit liquidity for the guys who started the company. They want to IPO because they want to sell some shares so they can actually be wealthy as opposed to just being wealthy on paper. So most IPOs undercut their IPO price, and then quite often there's a couple trading strategies I know some systematic traders use where they're buying either back through an anchored VWAP of that IPO price, or they're buying back through the IPO price itself later. So I would be interested to watch some of these space ones down the road, like in a month or so. I've set some alerts at that IPO price, and if they get back through that, I'll be kind of interested. But in my opinion, something IPOing and then undercutting it, that is more than normal. This Circle that I have up here, this is rare that you kind of IPO and just rock it. So how to trade these, I love, in Brian Shannon's book, he talks about this all the time, is you just pop an anchor to the VWAP, to the IPO price. And what you're doing there is you're just saying, okay, what's the average price of the average market participant? And I brought up Circle because it's a perfect example where 1, 2, 3, 4 times we hit the anchored VWAP IPO. 3 of those times, they were amazing buys. You could have made a lot of money scalping against that. And as soon as it broke, that's when the bleed started. And that's when I would kind of walk away. So I'm not too worried to see these. But yes, the more IPOs we see out there, the more sign of a top. I don't think there's an exact number or anything like that. But it's just showing that people are just trying to, they're seeing their moment to kind of get that exit liquidity from their positions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. And we appreciate all of your insights, as always. Our good friend, we'll get you out of here. I can't wait to talk to you later on in the week. We'll see what happens with CPI, whether that's going to affect that LWM. But right now, most of these small cap earnings have been rather nasty. When you don't make money, you can be in trouble. Michael Noss, our good friend over at Stats Edge. We'll talk to you later on the week. Good luck with your trading.
We'll talk to you then. Have a good one.
Ooh, and Adara. Oklo as well, at least the reversal. Much like Archer, it caught a bid. That's the best you can say about Oklo. We were down, it was down 10% and now back to effectively flat. It actually went up for a little bit. It was up 2 or 3%. So I was kind of happy because I own some SMR. We got to be a little bit concerned about the space here. But the numbers on Oklo, I didn't see all of them, but I believe you have some.
I only saw one of them. So
Okay.
Adjusted losses here of 18 cents per share. I was seeing estimates of either 12 cent or 11 cent per share loss. Either way, they did miss. Now, someone was asking, is there any more to be released here from Big Bear AI? I'm just trying to check to see if I can find out when their earnings call is, and I can give you guys a definitive answer.
Trying to bounce.
Big Bear's earnings call is going to be at, and give me a moment here, guys. Okay, it'll be at, midnight tomorrow, it's saying. So I'm unclear if that is correct. It looks like it's midnight tomorrow is what I'm seeing here. So we might not get the earnings call for a while, but I'll go over BBAI earnings again because I know this is really the only one that anyone seems to care about, especially if you look in the chat. I actually have all of the Oklo earnings or the Oklo earnings now. So I'll quickly go back over to Oklo. Then I'll go to BBAI. Again, larger than expected loss per share, loss from operations, $28 million. Their net loss actually did, though, contract a little bit, so slightly better here on a year-over-year basis. Net loss of $24.7 million this quarter versus $27.3 million on a year-over-year basis. So yeah, slight improvement there for their loss. Apparently they have a strong balance sheet bolstered by an equity raise of $441.6 million over the course of the quarter. So kind of mixed report here for OKLO, but let's talk about BBAI, which is certainly not a mixed report. Maybe don't call your company Big Bear if you don't want people to sell it, perhaps, may chance.
That's fair.
So revenue, $32.47 million, well below estimates of $40.74 million, down 18% year over year. Losses of 71 cents per share, well above the expected loss of 6 cents per share. And when I mean well above, I mean much larger than. They did miss.
Yeah.
And they missed by like 1,000% or something. So they did actually withdraw their fiscal 2025 adjusted EBITDA guidance due to their Army program uncertainty and new growth investment. So it's really hard when one of the draws for the stock is their Army program. And now because of said Army program and the uncertainty around it, they're actually withdrawing guidance. It's a head scratcher. I'm not going to lie. I do not love that.
That's how you get 23 points to the downside, though.
100%. It makes a lot of sense.
23 points to the downside. By the way, it did bounce off $5, like Michael said.
Nice.
Anyways, there is that,
Michael.
at least for now. I saw at least one. Look, if you see a source that says like a weird time, like because midnight for the earnings call doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's a reliable source,
But I saw another one saying 4:30.
That makes
so
more
I don't
sense.
know. What I would suggest if you're interested in the call is just go to the company website, and usually there'll be like a link or anyways, but just maybe go to the company website because midnight who in their right mind would do that? First of all, maybe someone that's down 23% and wants no one to listen to the call. But I doubt that's going to be it. Very disappointing here for Big Bear AI, which, as you mentioned, Adara, maybe don't call yourself a bear. But the $5 level, at least holding, that was not a good report. The withdrawing of the guidance, as you said, I think it's never going to be taken well. And when you were high flying to begin with, sometimes you get punished a heck of a lot more for it. But wow, that is absolutely nuts how it moved to the downside. So okay, so thank you right now in the chat. It's Firestar is saying there's music now, so you must have the call. Someone's saying the call is live now, but it's just music right now, which, again, maybe just go to the company website if you're interested in listening to the call. But you know what? you're also going to get all of the goods tomorrow from us. You're going to come in the morning. We'll cover everything related to BBAI and all the other earnings and a whole lot more. We're going to have Circle before the bell, everybody. But you know what time it is. It's time for a little roll call action where we give a monster shout out to the entire team. They moved from one place to another. I can't even see Ramin. I can see. I can barely see Ramin and Fabian over there. Barely. They're so far away now. But shout out to the entire team. Big shout out to the midday. Obi filling in, of course, for Sharif, Joseph, my man Sean, Brendo. But obviously, let's keep it real. Adara, in busy earnings season, does all of the work. And now she has to do the roll call as well. So get in there and say, get it, Adara, everybody in the chat. And let's get this roll call started. But you got to hit the subscribe to be in the chat. So do that. And then say, get it, Adara.
Yeah, shout out to our whole team. Definitely check out X, the TTV research. I did way too much statistical analysis on the earnings moves of recent IPOs. I'll probably talk about that a lot tomorrow. But either way, check that out. Nobody in the, that's literally someone's name in the chat. Nobody. We have Neil saying, get it, Adara. Front porch trader, Mr. Ducats. Is there something up there? Blue Baron, Kadachi. We got Crypto FOMO, wannabe trader. Nobody, again, here in the chat. We've got something, Piper something, Grov. We've got DNA, Jai Singh, King something, Chart Hustle. This is moving really fast, guys. Hope Richley, Damien Tarza, Sunny Little Tree, Mike DeRider, One Man Ow, Stevenson Etienne, G-Talk, Your Average Zombie, T-Man, Jay Dizzle, Jeffrey Epstein's Ghost. Oh, that got morbid.
Oh.
Sorry about that, guys. Bob O'Nob, Blip Blorpus, Big 40 Nephew, Nobody again here, and Notorious Dinkelberg. We'll end on that one. Someone else has said poor Robin Hood. Hopefully, Robin Hood is doing okay today. I don't know. We'll find out. That's literally the name of their name in the chat. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, either way, make sure to like and subscribe. Join us every single day for more content, and we'll be here tomorrow.
Get it, Adara. As always, absolutely crushing it. Once again, another great aftermarket show. BBAI, we'll see tomorrow, but it held the $5 level, so at least that's going to be good. Can it do it tomorrow? That's the question we'll be asking, and it'll get answered starting at 8:30. Why? Because we're Trader TV Live, and we'll cover everything that happens in the market in real time for you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Brought to you by Beta Pro.